New World. Not yet. Prologue. New World and a deal. In a place famous for duking out a conflict, two figures fought. Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke fought. They fought for their own ideals. Naruto's being the one to bring his rogue friend back to the village he called home as he gave his word to Haruno Sakura, his teammate. Sasuke's was to go to a man who can give the power to kill him. The person who killed their parents and his clan. The man who he looked up to in his childhood. The man who promised to their parents that he will take care of him in their absence. The man who he called older brother. This is not just a clash of ideals but morals as well. Sasuke was prepared to kill the blonde annoyance if it comes to that. He is prepared to do anything to attain power. Naruto is also prepared to do anything to bring Sasuke back to their village. Do anything to bring his brother back to their home. They clashed again and again but no victor emerged. Sasuke's Sharingan fully matured in their clash. Naruto used a tailless Biju cloak to keep up with Sasuke's newly improved speed and reflexes. Sasuke activated his curse mark level 1 to counter Naruto's boost in power. Naruto entered the one-tail version 1 cloak. Sasuke activated his level 2 of curse mark to counter it. It is still a stalemate. Tobi, or rather, Uchiha Obito came to watch the fight and if possible, capture the Kyuubi Jinchuriki if the moment presents. He is watching the fight lazily with his Sharingan. Awaiting an opportunity to get the Kyuubi. The fight reached its peak. Naruto charged with his Rasengan. His signature attack which is highly enhanced by the potent and corrosive Kyuubi's chakra which changed the normal blue ball of chakra into a reddish-blue ball of spiraling chakra. Sasuke countered it with his Chidori which merged with the vile nature of the cursed seal and changed into purplish-black. The two attacks collided with each other. No one giving in to the other. Both the combatants continued to channel all the chakra they had into their attacks. Soon, because of these unrelenting forces, a tear occurred in the space surrounding the attacks. It moved to Naruto's side of the attack. It is a blackish-white hole that started to suck in everything in its radius. Obito knew that. It is a long-range version of his Kamui. Which means Kakashi is here. He watched in interest what happened next. But he didn't expect the result. The tear widened. Instead of a blackish-white hole, it is completely black with purple tints and started to suck Naruto in. Sasuke fell to the ground in exhaustion and is looking at his blonde-haired friend in confusion. He didn't understand what was happening. Obito felt his right eye activate and chakra channel into it, automatically. Half of his reserves were drained dry and the blonde Jinchuriki was gone, fell into the tear in space without any trace left behind of him. Kakashi also felt similar effects, but his complete chakra reserves are drained from the use of his left eye. Inside the seal, the Kyuubi is watching the events with a bloodthirsty grin. The blonde idiot is using his chakra more and more. If this continues, he can tempt him to break the seal. Suddenly, he saw a tear in space and his eyes widened. There is no way such a minuscule attack created a tear in space, he thought to himself. He knew the power in both the attacks may be high, but it is not even compared to his Biju bomb. So, there is something external that created the hole. He sensed the scarecrow, the teacher of his container, activate his Mangekyo and the effect being pulled towards Naruto's side. But unlike just being sucked into it, the blonde fell into something deeper. It is a black void with purple outline filled with nothing. He knew what is going to happen. Due to the high concentration of power and reckless use of a space-time ninjutsu, the blonde is not sucked into space-time jutsu, but instead, he is tearing the dimension and probably gonna go into another one or gonna die. He didn't care for his life though. This means his freedom. He got a murderous grin on his face. He is going to enjoy, and soon, his cage burst open and his chakra started to forcefully rip out of the cage. Everything sealed in the seal had unlocked and brought them into the mindscape. He is going to add insult to injury. He got his chance. Ha 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 ha. He laughed in glee. See that, Naruto? You are dead now, said the Kyuubi, confusing the blonde boy. As soon as Naruto came in, two more holes formed and came out a blonde man and a red-headed woman. All the chakra in the vicinity surrounding Naruto got sucked into the hole, which closed as soon as he got completely sucked in, only leaving a small gap. The chakra from Obito and Kakashi also followed in, and due to their lingering chakra another crack opened on the other side and Naruto slowly started traveling in its direction. All the chakra that got sucked didn't have anywhere to go but Naruto, as he is the only other source of chakra there and latched to him, soon merging with him. Kyuubi, said Minato, impassively. Minato, said Kushina in confusion. Yes, Yondaime. It's me. But I think you should be worried about your son now, he said with a mad glee. Minato, seeing the cage open, turned to Naruto, who had a shocked look on his face. Naruto, yelled Kushina and hugged her son tightly. For Naruto all this is new. He finally met his parents. The people he wanted to find out from his childhood. Yondaime is my father, is the only thought Naruto had, and involuntarily hugged the woman hugging him. What happened, Naruto? Why is the seal broken? Minato asked. Kyuubi laughed and too happily replied of what happened. So, Naruto is being sucked into another world because of the hole in space? Asked Minto awestruck. Yes, replied the Kyuubi happily. And why are you not sucked away with him? I thought the Shikifuin is a soul-level seal, asked Minato. Kyuubi gave him a toothy smile and replied. Because we Biju can't cross the dimension. We can, unless the user has higher power to take us. We are bound to the realm of elemental nations for eternity, he said cheerfully. He is happy that he had finally got his freedom after 100 years of imprisonment. Naruto slowly started moving towards the hole on the other side. Well, it cannot be helped then, said Minato and hugged Kushina, who was hugging Naruto, making it a family hug. Naruto went back from the hug and punched Minato in the stomach, which hurt him a little. Why? Is the only question Naruto asked. I'm sorry that I placed this burden on you, son. But when I faced that masked man who claims to be Uchiha Madara, I couldn't help but think of your future. That is why I entrusted you with the power of the Kyuubi, so that one day you can master it with the help of your mother. I sealed some of our chakra in you as a way which enables us to meet you at some point in time in your life, but I didn't expect that to be like this, said Minato. Regret and guilt evident in his voice. I saw your childhood from the seal and I regret sealing the Kyuubi in you and blindingly believing the villagers would understand and fulfill my last wish, he said in a sad tone. I'm sorry, son, said Kushina. But for Naruto, it is different. He finally met his parents. The newly acquired chakra in him triggered something in him. His eyes changed from that of cerulean blue to red with two black tomos in each of them. Naruto hugged his parents tightly. It's all right, guys. I am fine and I got the chance to meet you. That's enough, I forgive you, he said with a smile that shames the brightness of the sun. Thank you, son. We felt blessed when we had you. We loved you so much, said Kushina. You have made your lives more brighter by being our son. Thank you for choosing as your parents, son, continued Minato. No matter what, remember that we always love you, Naruto, they said in unison as the whole neared and the Kyuubi was 1/4 of its original size, looking at them in amusement. Even in your last seconds, you continue to amaze me. Humans, he said in a deep tone. As you have impressed me, I'll give your son one of my abilities, which might help him in this new world, he said and pushed some of his chakra into Naruto which got absorbed instantly. We shall give you our most powerful jutsu as well, son, said Kushina and transferred some of her chakra into Naruto. You already know Rasengan. I failed to master it completely. Find a way to add your elemental affinity into it, son. As for my most prized jutsu, I have sealed it in your seal. When you think about it, you will get it. Think of Hiraishin and you will get it, he said and the Kyuubi almost disappeared. Finally, freedom, were his last words as his chakra completely vanished from the seal into the elemental nations to reform. Minato and Kushina saw Naruto's body slowly disappear as well, so they moved forward and hugged him. Thank you for being our son, Naruto, said Minato. No matter what, we are proud of you, said Kushina. We'll be watching you from the other side, Naruto. Don't come to join us soon. Add our life to yours and live a long, happy life, they said again in unison. Naruto gave them one last smile and replied. I will, Mom, Dad, that's a promise of a lifetime, he said, tears falling from his eyes freely. All the chakra that is surrounding him merged into including that of his parents and they disappeared in gold particles. Naruto cried tears of joy. His wish to see his parents has come true. He finally met them and they loved him a lot. His eyes spun wildly, large amounts of chakra unconsciously being into them. His eyes bled and a pattern appeared in them. Instead of two tomos, they have a swirl pattern in them. But just before he entered into the new dimension completely, Naruto could have sworn he had seen a man who is made of pure chakra with a blue ethereal form leaving his body. Some of his chakra left in his body as he is still alive. As the Kyuubi explained about forcefully being ripped off, a living vessel leaves a small amount of residue behind, as in the case of Kyuubi's chakra being left behind and his parents' chakra merging with his own, and now the man's also included. But what shocked Naruto is the expression on the man's face. He had a sorrowful expression as if he lost something important. Naruto didn't have enough time to think about it as he is fully concentrated on the tear. His body flew towards the tear. When he reached the tear, he was violently shoved into space like a star. His body heating up because of the friction. July 7, X 777. A few moments earlier, Heartfilia Manor. Layla Heartfilia has opened the Eclipse Gate to allow the Dragon Slayers access from the past to the present. She had a key missing, so she used her own life force to supplement it. It has gone perfectly. All the 5 Dragon Slayers has passed through it without any problem. However, soon as the gate was about to close, another star passed through the gate before it was completely closed. The star went in another direction as compared to the Dragon Slayers to north. She didn't know how there was a 6th one, but she didn't think much about it. Her health started to deteriorate as it is and she fell unconscious after that. Naruto was violently shot into the air and traveled into a far north and crash-landed into a thick forest. His body was severely burnt and bruised because of his travel through space, and his chakra coils have largely expanded due to the extraction of the Kyuubi, and he is suffering from a severe case of chakra exhaustion. He couldn't do anything but open his eyes for a moment to see brilliant yellow reptilian eyes looking at him, curiously, before going unconscious. For Aldoron, this is all different. He knew what the date and year and what is going to happen today. The dragons will use the Eclipse Gate to come to the future to defeat Acnologia. He is one of the victims after all, and his fight with the Apocalypse Dragon has left him in this severely weakened state. He saw a star coming in his direction and landed in front of him. He saw into the crater curiously to see a child, who smelt like a fox. He may be around 10 to 12 years old, according to his estimation. And the fact he managed to stay conscious through all of this ordeal impressed Aldoron. When leaned to get a look at the child, he managed to get a glimpse of red eyes, which changed into cerulean blue, which looked confused at him before he lost his consciousness. His body was burnt and bruised as if he had traveled in the void, and Aldoron got into work. If he planned this right, the boy in front of him would be his key to defeat Acnologia for him. He saw the boy heal himself, and it is very fast. He also helped the healing process by sending his nutrients into the boy, helping him recover faster. Naruto was unconscious and came to his mindscape. He saw the residue of Kyuubi's chakra behind the seal. It would be at least 6 to 8 taels worth. Not that Naruto know it. It is locked away in the cage. When he tapped it, it opened and the chakra came rushing into him, engulfing with its vile nature and bloodlust. Naruto felt rejuvenated and bloodlust at the same time. So he willed it back, and due to the absence of the Kyuubi's will, the chakra went back into the cage, roaming aimlessly. Naruto sighed in relief. He finally got rid of that fox that haunted him unknowingly for his whole life. Now the first question that came to his mind was, where was he? He knew that he saw some kind of gate, which he passed through when he entered this place. And he could remember that he saw yellow glowing reptilian eyes like Orochimaru's before going unconscious. He shrugged it off. He is going to go face whoever it is when he woke. He should know whether what his father told was true or not, and he thought about the horizon, and a scroll came in a puff of smoke. He opened it and read, "Dear Naruto, if you are reading this, then you must have met my chakra in you. I am sorry that I have to place the burden of the Kyuubi in you. But I can't think of a better person than my son who can defeat that masked man, who claims to be Madara Uchiha. In this scroll are the contents of mine and your mother's most treasured possessions. The right one is mine, while the left one is your mother's. Kushina and I love you, son. Your loving father. Namikaze Minato." Naruto opened the scroll by channeling some chakra into it. He saw 2 sides like his father said, which had kanji for Tu-san and Ka-chan on it. He pressed his finger on his father's side and it took some blood from and opened. There are 3 scrolls in it. One scroll has the kanji for Rasengan, another for Hiraishin, and another for Jutsu on it. Before opening all these, he also opened his mother's scroll. In a puff of smoke, some scrolls came out. One has the kanji for chains on it. Another has the kanji for Benihime on it, and another Uzumaki clan jutsu, and finally a letter from his mother. He opened it and read, "Dear Naruto, if you are reading this, then that meant that you have met mine or Minato's chakra in you. I'm sorry that you have been placed with the burden of becoming the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. I know how it be a Jinchuriki and the loneliness you would feel. When she is about to oas the Kyuubi to me, Mito-ba-chan had told me that the only way to defeat the hole caused by the Kyuubi is to fill the hole with love. She explained that because of her love for Shodai-sama, she had managed to defeat the loneliness. I also found love in my friends at Academy and Minato. Find someone to love and protect, son. That will fill your heart. Your loving mother. Uzumaki Kushina." He opened the Hiraishin scroll and started reading it. He sealed all the other scrolls into the large scroll and continued his reading. Both scrolls had sealing supplies in common. They had paintbrush and ink in them. As he is in his mind, he didn't need any food or sleep here. He read for what felt like days. Outside world. Aldoron has been observing the child curiously. After he started treating him, he felt a foul presence which had abnormal amounts of bloodlust and killing intent to it. It surrounded the boy for a minute and it disappeared as soon as it came. But what flabbergasted Aldoron was that the boy's body healed more than what was healed in the last 3 hours. His skin was back to its tan completion where it is pale before. The bruises on his skin also healed to some extent. His magic or something like what which Aldoron couldn't decipher also increased by a margin of 30 times, but dropped as soon as the cloak disappeared. Aldoron continued his observation as his future plans depended on the boy in front of him. 2 days later. Naruto was fully healed from his exhaustion and dimensional travel. What would take weeks for others or at least a week with Aldoron's help took the blonde just 2 days to completely get healed. His reserves are still recovering as they are currently at 25% of his total expanded reserves because of the extraction of the Kyuubi and merging of all the chakra that the whole sucked into him. He woke up groggily, sitting in an upright position. He knew that he was in a forest as he saw it before going unconscious. Aldoron peeked his large head as Naruto woke up. His body seems to have adjusted to his new surroundings as he stood up, keeping balance. He looked in all directions to get a perfect idea of where he was. Naruto looked up to see a giant wooden head looking at him. This confused him. Did a tree bark looking at me and it is interested in me, thought Naruto to himself. He was confused. But Uzumaki Naruto doesn't give up. That is his ninja way. Excuse me Bark-san, can you tell me where I am? Asked Naruto. The dragon seemed to be confused, like didn't it understand him. Now I should learn a new language again, thought Naruto. He sighed to himself and gestured to the dragon like writing in the air, and the dragon nodded to him. 1 week later. It took him 1 week to learn the basics of the new language. Midway, he discovered the secret of his signature technique, which changed everything. As Naruto was doing his daily routine, which included him and the dragon shouting to each other what they are thinking about the progress and the dragon drawing weird symbols on the dirt to explain it to him, he was in his mindscape. Skimming through the scrolls his father gave him. It had the shadow clone jutsu in it as well. His interest piqued. Naruto read about the jutsu. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Rank B. The Shadow Clone Jutsu is a technique developed by the second Hokage, Tobirama Senju. Similar to the basic clone jutsu, this technique creates copies of the user. However, these clones are real instead of illusions. The user's chakra is evenly distributed among every clone, giving each clone an equal fraction of the user's overall power. The clones are capable of performing techniques, including the Shadow Clone Jutsu itself, on their own and can even bleed, but will usually disperse after hit by a strong enough force. The clones can also disperse on their own or be dispelled by the user of the technique. When dispelled, the user and other clones get the information that the clone learned. This technique requires at least Junin-level chakra reserves, and dispelling multiple clones at once may cause brain damage and leads to death in case of low chakra user. Clones depend upon the amount of chakra that the user has. This revelation made Naruto jump in joy, and he made nearly 100 clones. All of them practicing, already learned letters of the language, and the dragon appreciated his effort and made different texts on different trees and ground, thus speeding up his learning the language. He learned more than half of it, and just the difficult ones were left to learn, which he is sure of learning in the next week. He was completely healed now and his reserves are full. He also learned another useful technique from those scrolls, which is called Great Clone Explosion. Great Clone Explosion. Rank A. Range -5 meters. The user creates a shadow clone, intending for their opponents to attack the clone at close range. After a certain amount of time has passed, the clone detonates, creating a large explosion. It is that simple. Just make a clone, go near the opponent, then boom. Naruto had a devious grin on his face at that. Oh, how well he is going to use on Kakashi or Sas.U.Ke. It hit him like a train. He is not going to do anything to them, as he is not with them and probably won't gonna meet them as well. He had tears falling from his eyes, and his eyes changed to that of a fully matured Sharingan. Suddenly everything seemed clear to Naruto. He went to a nearby stream to see what's wrong. There he saw it. Instead of his bright blue eyes, his eyes were red with 3 black tomos in them. Sharingan, said Naruto aloud. But how, he thought. From what he knew, only Uchiha can awaken their Sharingan. If he had one, then that means he is an Uchiha. It's something. His brain hurt at that. That's why I don't like to think more, grumbled Naruto to himself. Whatever, I had Sharingan now. Cool, exclaimed the blood and danced around like a headless chicken. What are dancing for, brat? Came a gruff voice that reminded Naruto such of the Kyuubi. Nothing, you old lizard, he called out, getting a growl out of the dragon. Now that you have learned the language, let's get into business, shall we? He asked, and Naruto nodded. He knew that anything is not free or done from the goodness of heart as a weakness is seen in his case when he did his best to save Sasuke only to be thrown into this new world. Getting separated from his home. That made him chuckle humorlessly. Home, now that is new. I was not treated well from the beginning. Always the stupid kid and the demon who make trouble. No one even cared for me there. Gigi did his duty as a Hokage, not to care for him as he blindly gave all power to the council. Kakashi didn't even teach him anything but tree walking. Jiraiya is a different case entirely. He couldn't get past my father's death and taught me Rasengan as a rite of passage. Tsunade, she loved me, yes, but she couldn't do anything as she herself is stuck in the past, thought Naruto to himself. Wow, what a family do I have, he couldn't hold back anymore. If have to get another chance to have a family again, I'm going to do everything in my power to protect them, he vowed to himself and went to the place where they could talk. So, what do you want from me? Asked the blonde in a business tone. A near-death experience did wonders to his attitude and behavior. Straight to the point, Well, I want to make a deal with you, said the dragon. Tell me already. I should know where I am and plan things. Naruto said the word planning, something new to him. He is a person who plans on the fly, and for him to plan everything out before doing is something to get adjusted to. I expected at least that much. After all, you are not supposed to come from the Eclipse Gate, he said in an amused tone. So that thing is called the Eclipse Gate, huh? That's a nice name, said Naruto offhandedly. Yes, it is an instrument, he stopped himself there. Well, let's come back to business. I want you to be my student and learn my magic, said Aldoron. Huh, said Naruto in confusion. Let me tell you about the world you are in. This is called Earthland and you are in Giltina, a place where we dragon gods live in. We use magic here and there are so many types of magics. I particularly use Dragon Slayer magic, God Slayer magic, and a combination of both. I also use Earth Dragon and Water Dragon Slayer magics as wood made of those both elements. There are some more that I will explain to you when the training begins. Different kinds of Dragon Slayer magics are lethal to dragons. There are other magics like God Slayer magic, Devil Slayer magic, and others that you can learn. Magic comes from the particles of ethernano that is present in nature. Is this clear so far? Asked Aldoron, and Naruto nodded. Then he explained about mages, guilds and kingdoms. He also explained about the dragon and God Slayer magic in detail, how they can consume their element, etc. So, you want me to become your Dragon Slayer? Asked Naruto in conclusion. Yes, that way I can take revenge on Acnologia when he comes for the remaining dragons, he said in a grave tone. Is this Acnologia powerful? Asked Naruto. Yes, so powerful, that I can't defeat him on my own when I fought him, and all these wounds are because of him, he said, gesturing to all the cuts and bruises on his massive body. What is in it for me? Asked Naruto. Powerful magic, possibly family in the remaining Dragon Slayers, and a life full of adventure, probably, he said. At the mention of family, Naruto made his decision. Then I accept, he said with a cheerful tone. Aldoron was taken aback by his acceptance. Are you sure? He asked to confirm. Naruto smiled at him and nodded his head. Well, then I'm going to implant a lacrima which will give the ability to use my magic, he said, gesturing to the greenish-black lacrima crystal he pulled out. This is maybe painful, said Aldoron, and Naruto nodded. He doubted that. He didn't scream in pain when the Kyuubi was forcefully extracted from him after all. The lacrima was put above his chest, where it merged in. He did feel a bit of pain, like his body is restructuring. His chakra and magic mixing, forming a more powerful variant. He could feel his reserves expand and power course through his body. After 5 minutes it settled. Naruto sighed in relief. Aldoron was surprised. The child in front of him didn't feel in pain, not even flinch. He must have done through a lot, thought the old dragon. Okay, Naruto, are you ready to learn the magic? He asked as if to confirm. Naruto nodded his head. Good, let's begin, he said, and Naruto just made a cross sign. 100 clones popped into existence. This shocked Aldoron. He can do this many clones. Go on, tell me what to do and we are going to do it, said Naruto, gesturing to his clones, while he sat in a meditative position and started meditation. Chapter 1. The Slayer Magic. Aldoron started Naruto's training by explaining to him how to mold his Slayer magic and the basic principles. As his clones practiced with him, Aldoron was surprised to learn about the of learning with clones. It is a unique technique which his disciple only can perform. Let me make this clear, brat. Though I can use Earth and Water Dragon Slayer magics, I cannot use them as a main attack magic, as that results in dire consequences and imbalance between the other gods and dragons. So, I'm going to teach you how to mold the magic, but you are going to use it at your own choice. I can teach you Dragon Roar though. Is that understood? He said in a stern tone, and Naruto nodded. For Naruto, this is nothing but another element to his repertoire. This gives him affinity to use water and earth, and he is going to learn all the jutsu in the scrolls relating to those elements. That way, he won't have to be a one-trick pony. He just don't want to rely too much on Rasengan or Shadow Clone Jutsu anymore. His whole shinobi life is filled with Rasengan and Shadow Clone Jutsu and nothing more. He didn't have lightning or fire style like Sasuke. He didn't have Akamaru like Kiba and bugs like Shino, nor shadows like Shikamaru. All he had was massive chakra reserves with pathetic control and those two techniques. He had enough. He is not going to be like that anymore. Uzumaki Naruto is going to change. The change is going to make this world hard. Believe it, cheered Naruto at his newfound determination and goal. They started their training and Aldoron showed Naruto how to mold Water Dragon Slayer magic. It allows him to use any water nearby to his will or create his own water. It is not in any way like water style in the shinobi world. There must be a nearby water source to use it well if you are a first-timer like me, or you must be decently skilled in water manipulation like maybe Zabuza or that shark-face, Kisame. But nobody could surpass Nadaime Hokage, Senju Tobirama, I guess, thought Naruto. After his training, he drank some water, which snuffed any lingering flames of his hunger. So he continued. This also gives him the ability to use water as magical source and food source. Ah, wonders of Dragon Slayer magic, thought Naruto. Even he won't learn much about water and earth Dragon Slayer magics. He can always create attacks and he can use them as water or earth styles to perform his jutsu, and he is satisfied with it. Soon, Naruto's stomach caught up to the fact that he is awake and training, but not eating any meaty food but just elements, and it made its displeasure known by grumbling loudly. Jiger. Ah, I think I am hungry, said the blonde sheepishly, rubbing the back of his head. Ha ha ha, seems so. What to do? Asked the dragon, amused. Don't you get hungry? Asked the blonde, pointing a finger at him accusingly. No, not really. I will feed of the nutrients that are available in all kinds of living things. That is how I healed you. That is one of my abilities, he said smugly, his chest puffing out. Naruto's stomach didn't agree with him though. Fine, fine. You ungrateful human stomach. Go hunt or something. I'm sure there are some animals in the forest if you search properly, said Aldoron in an annoyed tone. He mumbled about something along the lines of stupid humans and their stupid stomachs, but Naruto didn't pay much attention to it as his stomach is taking his full attention. Naruto along with his clones went into action. All of them has activated their Sharingan to get used to it. This made their search easier. Naruto soon found his catch. There is a group of overgrown ducks wandering around a lake. As he moved closer, they went into the stream to escape. Naruto simply water walked till he reached them and with a kunai, caught some fish instead of ducks. After catching a few of the larger fish by going underwater, Naruto went to the small home that Aldoron made, which he lived and started to roast them with a small fire technique. He ate quarter of the catch, stored half of it in a storage space, and took the remaining quarter with him. "Hey, you lizard, do you want some fish?" he said, wiggling the large fish in his hand. Aldoron peeked his eye to the boy who he is teaching his magic to. It's been a long time since I have ate any food. You can afford it. Then why not? He said, and Naruto threw a large fish into a large cave like a place which, in actuality, is the mouth of the mighty dragon god. It went in without any chewing. "It is good. Did you roast it?" asked Aldoron, awestruck. Anyone didn't feed him like this, but this human child has chose to do something which is uncommon among dragons. "Yep. I used a jutsu or a technique to roast it." "Is it nice?" asked the blonde as if talking to another person. Not a hint of fear or trepidation in his tone. "I think if you roast it some more, it would be good for me." "Got it," said Naruto and performed some hand signs and spewed a large fireball on the roasted fish. After half-minute of continuous roasting, Aldoron said to stop and he gave the dragon another fish. "Yes, it is good now. Thanks, brat," said Aldoron. Naruto nodded and they continued their training. 2 weeks later. It is break from his training for Naruto and rest day for Aldoron. Naruto got curious and asked the first question in his mind. "Hey lizard, tell me, are there any people around?" asked Naruto out of curiosity. "People? I think there is a small village at least 50 kilometers in that direction," he said, pointed to south. 50 kilometers, you say? We really are in the middle of nowhere, huh? Say, do you think there are any libraries or something there? If there are, I could learn more about the civilization and magic in general," asked the blonde. 50 kilometers is nothing for a shinobi as they can travel hundreds of km in a day when going max speed. That means you want a large town to have a library, isn't it right? Let me see," said Aldoron and closed his eyes. The first thing he felt was the chakra and magical reserves of Naruto. The brat did have large amounts of magic pools and this other energy is even more potent than ether nano. Some of it is mixing, forming a new combination. "I wonder, what would it result in?" thought Aldoron and continued sensing. He sensed the small village he said about in the south at 50 kilometers range. After passing that, he sensed a medium-sized village at 65 kilometers in the southeast. Past that, he sensed a large village with a high population at around 87 kilometers in the direction of the southwest. He opened his eyes. You have 3 villages within 100 kilometers radius. Small one in south around 50 kilometers, medium one in southeast around 65 kilometers and large one in southwest around 87 kilometers. I think going to large village will save you effort and time, said the dragon. Naruto nodded. He is going to use the new technique he learned from his clan scrolls now. It is called Shunshin no Jutsu or body flicker in this language. He learned it yesterday and practiced it with his clones. His daily routine in the past 2 weeks was to wake up, do morning exercises, go bath and other things. Learn how to use Dragon God Slayer magic from Aldoron. The Dragon God is currently teaching him about the Dragon Slayer magic. Learn jutsu from his father's and mother's scrolls simultaneously as 100 clones will learn this and the another 100 that. Eat lunch. Practice meditation. Try to be one with nature. Is it a part of the exercise said by Aldoron? Practice sealing or runes as it is called in this world. Eat dinner if any or hunt down. Mastering Sharingan at least the basic one and sleep. If you ask him, it is good schedule for Naruto. Naruto had seen so much improvement because of his signature technique learning, with his clones. He would read or listen to the theory and then create shadow clones to practice them. Using Sharingan to see how the magic molded only makes things easier. Another set of 100 clones will be working on his chakra control as well. Because of the lightweight of it, magic can be controlled easily, but Naruto is trying to implement some way to control it better. Maybe if I learn another type of magic, it would give a clue or something, thought the blonde to himself. All in all, his training is going good, and with the help of his clones, it is progressing fast. He made another 200 clones to train as there is no lesson today. He just started making small wooden pillars. As he started tree hopping, Naruto went through his new life. I had started training with Aldoron, progressed a lot. Started my training in ninjutsu and fuinjutsu. That is going good as well. Man, I progressed a lot in this 2 weeks, more than the past 6 months in the shinobi world, thought Naruto to himself. Which to his dismay, is true. He kept on tree hopping absent-mindedly as it is second nature to him by now. After 2 hours. It has been 2 hours. He used Shunshin when there is large gap and he can cover at least a half a kilometer with it in one go. It is far better when compared to the 10 meters range when he did for the first successful attempt. The scroll said with experience, the user can increase THS speed and distance. And add their own variations to it. Like an elemental Shunshin. Leaf Shunshin is the type he is doing now. He had finally reached the entrance of a village. What he saw stunned him. Fire. Most of the village is covered in fire, burning. A large black cloud had formed upon the village because of the intensity of the fire. An old man was directing people who are trying desperately to snuff the flames by pouring bucket after bucket of water. Only for their efforts to go down the drain because of the wood used as the main instrument for construction. Naruto walked up to the old man to ask what is going on. Hey, old man, what happened? Asked Naruto in worry for the townspeople's lives. The old man turned around to see a teenage boy with blonde hair and whisker marks on his cheek. Ignoring his ire at the movement because of the circumstances, he answered the question as calm as he could. The town has caught fire because of an accident and we are trying to stop it, he said in a sorrowful tone. Can I help you, sir? Asked Naruto. The man looked at him front of him quizzically. If this helps to minimize the damage and save efforts of my citizens, then why not? Yes, he said, and before he could assign an area for Naruto, Naruto started performing hand seals. Naruto inhaled a large gulp of air and shouted. Water style. Exploding water wave. And just like that, a large stream of water wave came out of his mouth and flowed past the scrambling citizens and flushed out the fire with it. Due to his jutsu sent in the direction of large buildings and crowd trying to douse the fire from outside, most of the citizens are unharmed. He continued it in all the places of the fire. Wave after wave of water came from his mouth and stopped the still burning wood and buildings. Steam erupted from them as it completely cooled down from the heat caused by the fire. As the citizens stood to the side watching Naruto do everything with an awestruck expression on their faces, Naruto reached a building which had the board of a library. Instead of using water wave as it would make all the books wet and useless, he went in, not listening to the shouts of the villagers, and doused the flames one by using his clones, and due to the flames obscuring their vision, the townspeople didn't see him using his clones. After all the village was doused, Naruto went to the mayor, who is the old man he spoke to earlier. There, old man. Everything is back to normal now, at least for the most part, he said with a toothy grin. The mayor smiled at the behavior of their savior and patted him on the shoulder. Yes, my boy, it is because of you. We managed to save so many lives and infrastructure and our knowledge, he said, pushing a book into Naruto's hands. Here, take this. This is an ancient magic passed down from generations in our village. Because of none of our citizens are mages, I'm giving this to you as an act of gratitude. This is rightfully yours now, he said with a smile as he placed the book in Naruto's hands. Naruto would generally reject something like this. But something stopped him. He thought about it for a moment. Maybe this is the thing I have missed in my life till now. Being appreciated by someone. Being able to help others. Then he remembered what Aldoron said about guilds. Guilds are group of mages formed together to do jobs or missions for their clients. He didn't think about it then. A guild is more or less a hidden village, realized Naruto. If I am going to join a guild, it would be a guild which treats its members as its family. If there are no such guilds, then I'm going to start one, said Naruto with determination. He hoped that such a guild exists. Far from Naruto, in a town filled with life and destruction of most powerful guild in Fury, Magnolia. Fairy Tale Guild Hall. All the members are enjoying themselves. Natsu was shouting about Igneel. Gray was stripping. Kana was using her card magic to see something. Urza and Mira are fighting each other, electricity flying between their eyes. Makarov Drayar, the third guild master of the most chotic guild of Fury, was drinking booze while looking at his children go through their day. He is content with it. Suddenly an icy chill ran down his spine. A feeling of dread and déjà vu spread through him. Why do I get the feeling that something more big and important has not joined yet, thought Makarov. Soon, he realized the impact of such person. This is not fair. I have to already deal with the destruction caused by the younger member. Now if this person joins, what will happen to the fate of the guild? This is not fair, cried Makarov comically. The rest of the guild noticed their crying master, but shrugged it off as happy tears. Choas continued. Back on the town in Giltina. Thanks old man, he said, and the old man nodded. You are welcome, my boy. Tell me, why are you here? Asked the mayor. Oh, I was looking for the library to read, he replied. Ah, yes, we have a large one. But it doesn't have any books on magic. The only books it had are common ones like Requip, gun magic, etc. The only valuable one is in your hand, and I don't think they are in good condition irrespective of your best efforts, he said, gesturing to the book and looking away sadly. No need to worry. I am grateful that you have given me this. Thanks old man. See you around, he said, shunning away from him. He went to a stall to eat and remembered the fact that he didn't have any money. But he was welcomed as he saved the village and fed to his heart's content. With his belly full, Naruto started his journey back home. He didn't even look the cover of the book he was given, as he is still excited about his first successful mission which saved so many lives. Yup, I'm going to be an awesome mage, thought Naruto. Occasionally doing some acrobatics in the air to show his happiness. After 2 hours, Naruto came to his home in the middle of the forest in Giltina. He saw Aldoron looking at him curiously. He went to the dragon and shouted in joy. You see this, lizard? This is the book given to me as gratitude. The mayor said that this book consists of some kind of powerful magic. He yelled excitedly, making the dragon's sensitive ears scream in pain. Tone down the volume, brat. I'm not a young hatchling to scream with you. Now open the book and tell me what magic it has, he said, gesturing to the book. It says the Slayer magic on it, said Naruto in confusion. Slayer magic. I know about dragon, god and devil slayer magics. What is this, Slayer magic, thought Naruto. The Slayer magic, or the All-Slayer magic, is an ancient and lost magic that is used by mages of ancient times to slay all kinds beings before the introduction of different creature slayer magics by such specific creatures. It lost its prominence because of dragon, devil and god slayer magics coming into existence. This magic is very potent and powerful. It grants the user to slay any kind of being to the same degree as the others. It is not like specific slayer magics which are taught by such creatures. This magic doesn't discriminate based on species. Its effects are fatal to any species, may it be human, demon, dragon or a god. He stopped reading the points. His eyes widened in shock and surprise. Is that even possible? A magic that can slay anything? Wow. Awesome, danced Naruto like a headless chicken. Now he knew how powerful magic he has got his hands on. Aldoron was seeing him with wide eyes. If this brat masters this magic, he will be a greater monster than me. Power to slay any being is just unimaginable. I didn't know such magic exists, thought the dragon. A fox-like grin came to Naruto's face after looking at the dragon. Yep. I'm going to learn this. This is so cool and awesome, he shouted to high heavens. He read more about the magic. The slaying magic is like any other slayer magic as it allows the user to eat the element they learn as a source of energy and food. It grants the user a physiology that doesn't get affected by the other types of slayer magic to some extent. It is not a complete defense but not completely defenseless. The slayer magic consists of only two elements. The two primary elements, light and darkness. This book has the light element. From the residue magic in the other book, it appears to be destroyed in its sacred place, read Naruto. He felt as if there is a magic in the book speaking to him from the book. He felt somber and grave as he read that line. Wow, this thing can keep track of the other part as well. Cool. Magic was so advanced. I can't help but realize how backwards we shinobi were back in the elemental nations, thought Naruto sadly. To learn the magic, the user has to put his hand in the center of the page and wait for the ancient magic to accept them as its next wielder. But before learning the magic, there is a basic knowledge that the user needs to know about the slayer magic. Unlike the other types of slayer magics, which affect as they come into contact with the specific creature it is taught to slay, the slayer magic depends on the will of the slayer. The intent behind the attack is what decides the outcome of the encounter. If the user has intent, then imagination is their only limit. Read the book and Naruto had a feeling that this time, it is going to be painful in a lot of it. First though, he should eat and take rest. Traveling 175 kilometers in a day took its toll on Naruto's body as he didn't travel that far in quite a while. Time skip. 1 year. In his first year of training, Naruto trained hard to learn his Dragon Slayer magic along with the Slayer magic. He made leaps and bounds progress in his Dragon Slayer magic as he completely learned the Water and Earth Dragon slaying magics. Aldoron first taught him the main elements. After that he taught him the basic techniques in Wood Dragon Slayer magic in the second half of the year. But Naruto mastered them to a different level. He can command the vegetation around him with a mere thought and no requirement of shouting his lungs out and telling the enemy what he is going to do. Naruto observed a change in him. His manner, behavior and his personality changed slowly to that of a true shinobi. He is more of a shinobi than he was in the elemental nations. His stealth, his intelligence, his tasks had mostly changed to suit his current world. Maybe this is what they mean by adapting to your surroundings, thought Naruto. His use of the all-slayer magic as he likes to call it, as calling it plain slayer magic is boring according to Naruto also developed a lot. He can now bend any type of light to his will. He has come up with a way to overcome the weakness of the light element when it is dark. It is a simple but effective method. But now he is training to in the advanced spells. The spells are magic taxing. Even the smallest spells costs lots of magic. If he had to put it in terms of his shinobi language, every technique in the all-slayer magic are at least B rank and high, the basic spells being at the range of C rank. He didn't find any D or E rank in his 1-year training. Every spell he learnt is practiced to perfection by his clones. He is currently learning a rank spells. He still had so many more to go. I am gonna do it, believe it, shouted Naruto to himself as he started his training in the various magics he had tasked himself to learn. His verbal tick didn't change though. A fond memory of his recent spar came to the front of his mind. Flashback. 2 days ago. Are you ready for a spar, Naruto? Asked Aldoron affectionately. Spending time with the blonde boy wonder changed him a lot. They both treated each other like family now. Yes, father. I'm ready, he said and slipped into his battle stance. Which was nothing but standing cross-armed and looking bored at the dragon god in front of him. Cheeky brat, said Aldoron and prepared his attack. Wood dragons encasing pillars, said the dragon and a pillars of wood erupted from the ground on the spit where Naruto stood. Shatter, is the only word Naruto said. The wood coming towards him shattered into millions of wood pieces. It is because of the invisible light that splinted the wood into pieces as it traveled at high speeds towards the attacking wood. Water Dragon's Trident. Naruto called out, his hand changing into the form of a trident and jumped to attack the dragon. The attack hit, but due to the thick hide, it couldn't pass the skin of Aldoron. Naruto touched the stem-like skin, and with a beam of light cut it into pieces. Though not much, it left a scratch on the bark-like body of Aldoron. Wood Dragon's Bloom, called out the dragon. Naruto was alarmed and jumped back and made 5 clones, who simultaneously took deep breaths of air. Wind Style. Great breakthrough, they all said simultaneously. The pollen released by the dragon was dispersed by the large gusts of wind produced by Naruto with his clones. Good, you have at least kept it up for a minute. Train with it more and I'm sure you can keep it for more time. It is just like any dragon's roar, he said, and Naruto nodded. Due to the weakened condition of Aldoron, they didn't continue the spar. But Naruto showed all he had learned to the dragon, who felt proud swell up in his chest. Naruto also showed him his progress in the God Slayer magic. Though not on the level of mastery, it is coming good. After that, Naruto showed him different jutsu he learned from the scrolls left behind by his parents. He didn't learn Hiraishin yet, as he is not a real seal master. The potency of his chakra with the ether nanoparticles was enough to learn his mother's chains style. As for Kyuubi's gift, he found out that he is a sensor as well, when Aldoron threw a wood spike at him to wake up, which case he sensed the attack and escaped it. He couldn't control Kyuubi's chakra yet. He is currently at level 15 in total 25 levels of seal mastery. He learned how to draw seals with his chakra alone. After the training session is over, Aldoron spoke the words which made Naruto tear up. In the beginning, when I took you in, I thought about the decision I made. As I don't have much time unless I use the humans as a way of life force, did I make right choice by taking you under my wing, and teaching you my Dragon Slayer magic? But now, seeing your progress, I can happily say that I made the right choice by choosing you, son. I'm extremely proud of you, Naruto, he said with affection towards the blonde. Thank you for taking me in, father, said Naruto. He went closer and flew to the dragon's snout to sit on it. They both shared a moment of father and son. From this day forth, you will be trained in the advanced and secret arts of wood dragon slaying magic. To come for this far in just 1 year is remarkable, Naruto, said Aldoron, proudly. Thank you, father, said Naruto, tears falling from his eyes in joy. After a full day of training in advanced wood dragon slayer spells, Naruto slept. The spells are more destructive and draining. With just one spell, he can fill an entire valley with trees if it used. They are like a rank to S rank jutsu. He is trying to create a more powerful version of his Rasengan. He created a basic elemental once like wind-style Rasengan etc. He stared at his necklace, a reminder of his home along with his headband. From the moment he started learning the wood dragon slayer magic, he felt something from the necklace. It is a stage feeling. A feeling that said, I am finally home. He knew the necklace was not ordinary. After all, it belongs to Senju Hashirama, the Shodai Hokage. The man who is known as Shinobi no Kami. He was told by his granny Tsunade, that the necklace is worth 3 mountains of cash. And it survived his dimensional travel as well. Why do I feel a connection to the necklace as it is closer to me than ever, thought the blonde boy. Soon he will find out why. Nighttime, same day. Naruto was fast asleep and is dreaming of ramen and other things he wanted. But suddenly he felt his conscious being dragged to somewhere. He was in a place which is completely white with blue water filling the ground, instead of sewer turned forest of his mindscape. A lone man is seen floating in the air in the middle of a hall. Naruto walked towards him, seeing that he is the only person there other than him. Welcome, Uzumaki Naruto, said the old man in a grave tone. Who are you, old geezer? Asked Naruto in confusion. He is sure that he didn't see this old fart. My name is Otsutsuki Hagoromo, or the Sage of Six Paths as you know me as, he said in a calm tone. For the first time, Naruto saw the man as he turned towards him. He was a tall, pale-skinned man, who had deep wrinkles and a strong jawline. He can say that even though the old man is sitting, he had spiky, shoulder-length, pale brown hair, with a chin-length braided lock hanging in front of his left ear. He also sported a goatee, which was tapered down to his waist. He had a pair of horn-like protrusions extending from either side of his forehead and also had a red ring-like marking in the center of his forehead which Naruto didn't know what. He wore a white, full-length kimono with a pattern of 6 black magatama around a high collar, beneath which, he wore a necklace which was also made up of 6 black magatama. On the back of his kimono was a larger, black ringed marking with a pattern of 9 magatama arranged in 3 rows of 3 beneath it. But what stood out of the old man were his eyes. Purple, with circles in them looking at him with sorrow and regret. You may not know me, child. But I know you. You are the ex-transmigrant of my younger son, Otsutsuki Asura, he said. Naruto was confused. Not only the Sage of Six Paths, the man regarded as father of the shinobi in front of him, but now Naruto is a transmigrawat of his son. His mind just came back in from its holidays and processed everything. His mouth agape. Naruto stared at the old man. You heard me correct, Naruto, he confirmed again, to assure Naruto. Generally, in times like these, Naruto's mind would overload with information and he would get a massive headache. However, because of the last year's conditioning, his mind had caught up to things quickly. So, why are you here, Super Gramps Sage? Asked Naruto, giving the old sage a nickname, which were generally given to people who are close to him by Naruto. There is a twitch in the old man's eyebrows, but he didn't do much. That is a long story, my child, said Hagoromo and explained how Indra and Asura are his sons and how they fought and continued about the creation of 9-tailed beasts and his death and then how they started transmigrating to settle their dispute. Uchiha Sasuke and you used to be the current generation of transmigrants, until your untimely departure from our world, he explained the course of events. So does this mean, the man who left me in a blue ethereal form was Asura? Asked Naruto, to which Hagoromo nodded his mind. Yes, he is my son. Why are you here? Will you take me back to elemental nations? He asked, worried that he would lose his new father. Hagoromo gave a bitter smile to him. No, Naruto, even if I want to, I couldn't. I don't have any power or control over this dimension. Even if I want to give you my power, I couldn't. I thought that you and Sasuke will be the ones to solve the dispute between the brothers. But it is no longer the case. I am straining my powers to a great degree to reach you. I can make it here because of the residue chakra of Asura, which is in you. I am here to say sorry for everything that had happened. I had the power to stop the tear from taking you, but I was too late in making my decision. As I can't give you power, I'll give you knowledge. Knowledge of the wood style used by Hashirama Senju, the previous host of Asura and then some, he said, tapping Naruto's head with his fingers. Naruto felt a rush of chakra and knowledge with it. There is just so much to process, so he just focused on the sage in front of him instead of the rushing knowledge. Can I do anything that allows me to get your forgiveness for my mistakes? Asked Hagoromo. Naruto thought about it. He thought of rejecting the offer. But if he did that, then what is the difference between his old shinobi self and the current him? Think, Naruto, what do you want most? Family. Family, yes. But you can find it in this world or can start your own. Next best thing, a friend. A friend is someone I wanted for a long time. But because of the Kyuubi, I didn't have any. A friend maybe, said Naruto nervously. He don't know if such thing is possible. A friend, you say? What kind of friend? Shall I give the fox which was sealed in you in any other type? Asked Hagoromo. He should be cool, can talk and able to fly. Flying is cool and my father couldn't show it to me as he is ill and he should be strong as well. as I'm going to create a technique to fly. So, a fox, jaguar, lion, tiger, cat, I don't know. I didn't have a good experience with that stupid fur ball. If you can make it good and friendly, I suppose it is fine, he said, thinking of all types of things he want in his friend. Let me conclude. You want a friend who can talk and fly. Strong and a fox is acceptable, but he should be friendly. Is that what you ask, Naruto? Asked Hagoromo. Yes, yes, he shouted in excitement. Okay then. Step back, he said, and Naruto stepped back. Onmyoten. Banbutsu Sozo, he said as blue and red fire lit his hands and he combined both of his hands, channeling his chakra into the technique. It is a great strain coming here, but as one last gift to Naruto, he is going to make this possible. He is going to create an animal he never created. Soon, the process stopped and a small orb came into view. Naruto saw the ball. It is in the shape of a magatama. It has a goodish orange cat in it. It is a small cat with its eyes closed. Wow. Amazing. Super Gramps Sage. What is this? Asked Naruto in wonder. This is a jaguar, Naruto. He is going to have all your required qualities. This is one of a kind as he doesn't have any spots like his kind, said Hagoromo, gesturing to the small cub in his hand. What is he called? Asked Naruto in wonder. I didn't name him yet, Naruto. Name him yourself, said Hagoromo, smiling at the wonder in the blonde boy's tone. Sirius, I'm going to name him Sirius, exclaimed Naruto loudly. Sirius, why that name particularly? He asked curiously. I read about it in a book in the library here. It is a name of the brightest star in the night sky, just like him. Look at him, he had gold fur with tints of my favorite orange in it. I like him, said Naruto in excitement. So Sirius it is then, said Hagoromo, seriously. Yep. When he will wake up? Asked Naruto. It will take time. You will know when he is ready. Only then you are to release him out. Is that clear? He said, and Naruto nodded. Now, Naruto, I hope you will forgive me for my mistakes and move on with your life in this dimension. Can you do that, Naruto? Asked Hagoromo seriously. Yeah, I can. I have found a father and now a friend. I'll definitely do that, he said in a sad tone. Hagoromo didn't probe him further. I'll be going then. I hope you live a happy and long life, Naruto. Thanks, Super Gram Sage. I wish elemental nations peace as well, he said, making Hagoromo smile at him. I wish too, child. I wish too, he said, and left Naruto in a flash of light. Naruto looked at his new companion and spent the rest of the night seeing him sleep peacefully. Chapter 2. An unforgettable battle. Naruto woke up the next morning, thinking of all the things happened during the last night to be a dream. But when he went to his mindscape, he saw little Sirius in the ball made by Hagoromo, sleeping happily. Naruto adored the little jaguar. He is in his favorite color, with gold skin, and had a content expression which made him more cute in Naruto's eyes. After some time of watching the small cub, he went to tell his father about his new companion. After explanation, Naruto explained everything happened last night. Aldoron had a blank expression. So let me get this straight. You met this old and powerful guy from your old world, who came to apologize for his inaction. Aha, Naruto replied. He gave you knowledge of this wood style, a variety of my wood dragon God Slayer magic in your world, and then summon as a final apology. He created this small cub for you as you asked for a companion, who you named Sirius. As you thought that name to be perfect from the books you read in that village a while ago. Am I right, Naruto? Asked Aldoron, bewildered. How is this shit possible, and how can that guy create life out of nothing unless he had some kind of curse or something, thought the old dragon. Yup, Dad. He is currently taking rest. As soon as he wakes up, I'll show him to you, Naruto said cheerfully. Aldoron gave a dragon's equivalent to a sigh. Okay, brat, we will see when he wakes up. Now get back to your training. said Aldoron grumbled, and Naruto happily went on his daily routine. 2 weeks later, Naruto was doing his daily exercise, when he felt something different in him. He immediately went into his mindscape to check upon little Sirius. And sure enough, the small cub's ball had a crack. With excitement, he went closer. A bright light flash went off when he touched the Magatama, and some of his magic energy is drained from him. Sirius opened his big golden eyes to see the person for whom he was created for the first time. He gave Naruto a big toothy smile. A smile which made Naruto's heart flutter. His small canines, though not as big Naruto's, can be seen through all the teeth he had. His skin tone changed into gold with light orange tints at the tips of his ears. His underbelly being a light orange in color. His small gold tail also had a orange ending to it. He has green tribal markings on his forehead like the head of an arrow instead of black spots like General Jaguar, and he had a small green gem around his neck much like Naruto's own. "Hello there, Siri. How are you?" asked Naruto cheerfully. Seeing the blonde man smile at him, Sirius's smile widened. "I'm fine. What do I call you?" asked Sirius, and to Naruto's surprise, Sirius spoke in his mother tongue, which is the language spoken in elemental nations. Naruto smiled at that. "Seems like Super Gramps Sage had made him to speak in my language so that I can remember the language." "Awesome." Naruto gave him a wide smile. "What do you wanna call me, little guy?" he asked the small cub teasingly. "Hey, who are calling little guy, you big blunt?" yelled Sirius, unable to pronounce words correctly. "How cute. I think I should teach you how to spoke the native tongue." "Not a big deal. Now, you call me friend, buddy, or anything you want. But don't call some nickname." "Okay," he said, and Sirius nodded his head. "Okay, I'm going to call you Papa, for now. Until I find a good name," said Sirius with a serious expression. Naruto felt so much touched by the sentiment of the small cub. He picked him up and hugged him tightly. "Thanks, Siri," called Naruto, affectionately. Soon, Naruto felt rumbling. "Shit, I didn't tell him about coming here yet." "Okay, listen Sirius, I'm going to introduce to a big lizard." "Don't be afraid of him," said Naruto calmly. Sirius gave him a look which said, "Are you kidding me?" to which Naruto gave him a blank expression. "Let's hurry," Naruto said, and pulled out Sirius with him out of his mindscape. A few moments ago, in the outside world, Aldoron got worried. The blonde brat said to him that he will be back in a minute and went somewhere. It's been 15 minutes and Aldoron didn't see his foster son. He smelled him stuck in his spot as if paralyzed. He had enough of this and started moving, causing loud rumblings in the large forest. He sensed Naruto move, but he had another smell with him, and from the smell of it, the being is a small being which felt relatively fresh. Aldoron patiently waited for Naruto's return. Soon, he came into view. He had this small cat with him. It is a boy, he can tell by the smell of the cat. It has golden fur with an orange underbelly and orange-tinted ears. It had whisker masks like Naruto and has green tribal markings on his forehead in the form of the head of an arrow. It has a small necklace much similar to Naruto's. Naruto tree-hopped and landed in front of the dragon god, releasing the cub he was holding. "See father, I told you, remember, this is serious," he said, showing the cub in the direction of the dragon holding him with his 2 hands. Sirius's first reaction was to kick his blunt jerk of a father. "Ho-oh, in the world is this a big lizard? It is big Drakon," thought Sirius. But the big lizard didn't look at him with hunger. He had a confused look on his face. As if he didn't expect this. He got an amused expression soon though. This made Sirius take breath. His fight-or-flight instincts kicked in as soon as he saw the large dragon. Fear of death came to him and gave him a life-changing experience. "You are the child of my son, huh? Welcome to the family, Sirius," said Aldoron with a small smile, with his sharp teeth poking through his large mouth. Though Sirius didn't understand what the big Drakon said, he felt at ease. Sirius felt happy and elated at the same time as Naruto translated it to him. He is safe with these people. He happily played with Naruto and Aldoron, trying to climb the large dragon. When he slipped and fell, his white feathery wings came out, stopping his descent. However, before he could control them, Naruto came in and caught him with practiced ease. "Are fine there, buddy?" asked Naruto, looking concerned at his cub of a child. "Yes, Papa, I'm good. Now leave me, I wanna fly," he exclaimed with determination. Naruto smiled and ruffled his golden orange ears and repositioned himself and threw him into air while hopping on trees beside him. His efforts for creating a technique which lets him fly are going, and as his friends started fly, this increased the determination in Naruto to definitely find a technique to fly. He followed him for a while, and after that Naruto started teaching Sirius the language spoken in this world and continued his training. His current goals for the year are to complete his training in Wood Dragon Slayer magic, and the mayor said that this book consists of some kind of powerful magic. He yelled excitedly, making the dragon son. "Huh. Welcome to the family, Sirius," said Aldoron with a small smile, with his sharp teeth poking through his large mouth. Though Sirius didn't understand what the big Dracon said, he felt at ease. Sirius felt happy and elated at the same time as Naruto translated it to him. He is safe with these people. He happily played with Naruto and Aldoron, trying to climb the large dragon. When he slipped and fell, his white feathery wings came out, stopping his descent. However, before he could control them, Naruto came in and caught him with practiced ease. "Are fine there, buddy?" asked Naruto, looking concerned at his cub of a child. "Yes, Papa, I'm good. Now leave me, I wanna fly," he exclaimed with determination. Naruto smiled and ruffled his golden orange ears and repositioned himself and threw him into air while hopping on trees beside him. His efforts for creating a technique which lets him fly are going, and as his friends started fly, this increased the determination in Naruto to definitely find a technique to fly. He followed him for a while, and after that Naruto started teaching Sirius the language spoken in this world and continued his training. His current goals for the year are to complete his training in Wood Dragon Slayer magic and start learning God Slayer magic. To completely master the wood style and other jutsu he was given by Hagoromo. To get more grasp on his light all slayer magic. To master the Sharingan and to complete his elemental variations of Rasengan. With a determined look, he got into his training routine and started his training with renewed vigor. Time skip 1 year. Another year has passed since Naruto was taken by Aldoron as his student and foster son. The dragon's condition only deteriorated since the last year. He is expected to pass on during sometime this year. He completed all his goals and started practicing his magics. His Dragon Slayer magic training was completed, with his magic being only second to Aldoron strength-wise. His God Slayer magic training started, and before anything, Aldoron taught all the spells in the magic to him, as he had doubt about the possibility of teach Naruto in person as the time passes. When Naruto heard that, his normal eyes turned into Sharingan and spun wildly and formed into new pattern in the form of a swirl. A red swirl with black lines in it. From the knowledge he gained from Hagoromo, these are called the Mangekyo Sharingan, the evolutionary stage of the regular Sharingan. He didn't know of the powers he gained from it yet, but he is determined to know all the powers he had gotten from these new eyes. As for Sirius, the little cub had grown well in last year. He has a particular liking towards ramen, much like Naruto, and the cub had learned new magic in the last year in addition to learning the language of the planet they were on. Sirius grew 2 centimeters tall in the last year and learned how to use transformation magic and sword magic as he practiced with Naruto in spars. They quickly found out that Sirius couldn't keep his transformation magic for long because of his low stamina and endurance. So, Naruto started training Sirius in endurance and stamina training by way of regular push-ups and body exercises. He always carry a wooden sword around him which transforms with him when he uses his transformation magic. When tested for elemental affinities, Sirius had wind and lightning as main affinities and water being secondary affinity. This a surprise to him and Naruto. as Naruto had all the 5 nature affinities because of one thing or other. After this discovery, Naruto started teaching Sirius some basic jutsu of all the 3 elements Sirius had, and they just completed his training in wind style, wind blade jutsu. As magic doesn't require hand signs and Sirius had magic, he doesn't require hand signs, rather he just need the spell name and know how to use the magic. This is another discovery Naruto made. He doesn't require hand signs as he had magic as well. Magic is easy to build when compared to chakra and control as well, but in potency-wise, it is weaker than chakra. Naruto had found that he 2 types of containers in him. One which has his chakra and magic and other one for only magic. And obviously, the former is lager than the latter. He can add one to another and vice versa, and he can change what he want to use. He can simply switch between them. Currently, he uses his magic first and chakra magic mix later. For all his jutsu and techniques of elemental nations, he uses the chakra magic mix, and all the spells taught and learnt in this world, he uses his magic reserves. But one thing is sure, when he uses his chakra magic for this world's techniques, their potency, destructive capabilities and strength increases by nearly 3 to 5 times. The stronger the technique, the more it damages with his chakra magic added into the mix. He couldn't use his jutsu with pure magic though, but apply same principles to make them with magic. He was currently learning a new technique called Light Slayer magic, Light Ray, which in essence makes him travel at the speed of light. He is trying it out while Sirius and Aldoron are in a safe distance from him. The technique makes his body encase in light particles and shoot him like a light beam. He flew into air with a little magic and initiated the technique. He chose a direction and angle. He applied his magic and shot in southern direction like a star. Naruto didn't know where he is going to land. But because of his mastery over Horizon, he can simply teleport to his home without any trouble. But he didn't accept the jaw-shattering punch he got as soon as his momentum slowed. He shot violently in the opposite direction and hit a person in his attempt to escape and hit the ground. The person, because of his built-up speed and the powerful punch, Naruto hit him like a freight train, and the poor guy fell unconscious as soon as Naruto hit him. Ow! Ow! Who the hell hit that hard? Groaned Naruto, rubbing his sore cheek. For a second he thought he lost his cheek and jaw. It was like one of Tsunade's beatings to Jiraiya. If it is any other person, Naruto didn't have any doubt that they would pass out with a broken jaw. He rubbed his cheek and soon it healed. He saw a tall, muscular man with shoulder-length orange hair in a slicked-back fashion and a stubbly beard. His heavily muscular body and his chest sports scars, which are not much severe, and his black mark, which Naruto didn't recognize. The majority of his torso is bandaged, as were his right forearm and left shoulder. His attire is rather simple. He wears a long, black, high-collared and tattered cloak with shoulder plates. Around his waist is a simple belt. He also wore loose-fitting dark pants, complete with a metal plate on his waist. He is looking at Naruto sheepishly. Sorry there, kid. I didn't see you coming. By the way, where did you come from? Asked the man walking towards Naruto's direction. Naruto got a brilliant idea. If I can test my strength against this guy, I'll have a rough estimate of how strong I got, and any improvement is needed in my fighting style or technique, as he is looking pretty strong, thought Naruto, and the proverbial light blinded the man. For a minute because of its brightness. Hey, old man, fight me, said Naruto. Naruto made a clone, who stood to the side activating his Sharingan to observe the battle detail to detail. When Naruto said that word, Gildarts had a flashback of a certain pink-haired dragon slayer. You remind me a brat I know, kid. Now I think it is not good to challenge man who punched you, is it? Said Gildarts in a chiding tone. No, it is not that. But I want to test my limits and you seem strong, said Naruto in a whining tone. He made another clone and it dispelled immediately. This is to inform his father and friend to not worry about him. Gildarts raised an eyebrow at that. Is that a thought projection? Then why did it disperse? Nah, it's nothing, he dismissed. Okay, but I won't go hard on you. But I'll fight, gave in Gildarts as the teen seemed persistent. Yada. Thanks, old man. I'm going to fight seriously and I hope you can do the same, he said, and Naruto dropped into his battle stance with his legs relaxed and widespread. His hands on his chest and a bored look in his face, and to his surprise, Gildarts also dropped into the same stance. Looking at Naruto bored, Naruto concluded that the old man is not going to attack, and as he asked for the fight, he should, and started sprinting towards Gildarts. Gildarts was momentarily surprised by the speed at which the teen moved. He is certainly fast, thought Gildarts. Naruto came in front of him and kicked, punched only to get no response as the man's hand moved at the same speed to match his speed. Naruto increased his speed. Soon, Naruto's hands and legs are moving in a blur to get a kick or punch on the man. But to his surprise, the man matched his each blow and every move with his two hands. He knew this as futile and changed tactics. He went back and imbued his hands and legs with light magic and started a flurry of kicks, jabs, hooks and punches. Only to get blocked by the man. As his hands covered by orange light, the man's covered with white light, and his magic got crushed. My magic is being crushed, thought Naruto, and stopped his physical attacks. Okay, tough guy. You are going to witness my magic, he shouted and started charging his magic. A large golden bow formed in Naruto's hand, and Naruto said his attack and launched it towards his enemy. Light style. Light arrow, he said, as didn't want to reveal his magic to a stranger, and arrows made of pure light started bombarding Gildarts. However, they got crushed as they met a barrier made with his magic, which reflected or nullified the arrows upon contact. Fire style. Great file annihilation. Wind style. Great breakthrough, Naruto yelled, changing and using his chakra magic to attack. The combination of both fire and wind had formed into a large inferno and attacked Gildarts relentlessly. Only to dissipate with a single blast of the man's magic shot by him towards the attack. You are really good, old man, said Naruto. He made a large bow, which is 3 to 5 times larger than before, and pulled its string back. Instead of small arrows like before, a large arrow which is 3 foot long and a foot thick formed in Naruto's hand. Giant's arrow, said Naruto, and launched it towards the man. Gildarts sensed the magic energy in the arrow and strengthened his barrier more. He made his magic make a large set of small barriers which enveloped each other and started to wait for impact, and it soon happened. Boom! A large explosion as hard as soon as the impact took place, and Naruto knew that his opponent is not even scratched as he sensed him increase strength of his barrier. And as he expected, the man is standing in the same position. Out of all the 10 barriers he made, only 1 barrier left protecting him. That attack had some power, kid, said Gildarts, and Naruto smirked at him. Gotcha, he said, and vanished in a puff of smoke. A sword made of light energy impacted his barrier with the force of an elephant, and it cracked into pieces. As it was moving towards Gildarts, he caught it with his bare hand, stopping its movement. He crushed the magic with his own. However, underneath light, he saw a sword. A beautiful sword which is currently trying to cut him with its sharp edge and fighting against his magic. Damn, that's one good sword right there. It is not only fighting my magic, but it is cutting through it like butter. What is this sword? Its magic energy is so potent, thought Gildarts. Okay, I admit. You are good. Light magic is rare, and your magic actually causing me pain. What else do you have? You have pushed me to 15% of my power with that last attack of yours, which in itself is a great feat for a kid your age. I must admit, that sword of yours is something else. It didn't even budge by my magic. What can you do? Said Gildarts, enjoying the battle for once. He said the last sentence in a teasing tone. Naruto got a malicious smile. The old unknowingly gave me the idea. My magic seems weaker than his. How about I use the mixed variant in my attacks, thought Naruto, and soon, a heavy magic pressure hit the arena, creating cracks in the ground. Scatter, he said, and small pieces of light needles scattered around the battleground, which is mess with craters and holes. Naruto, with his hands, controlled every light needles with his hand moments and started attacking guildarts with his light needles. As they are countless and can be attacked guildarts from all directions, he doesn't have a particular idea of where that strikes. It is just, they are so many of them. Damn, he is pushing me to use more than 15%, thought guildarts, and increased his energy output and started attacking the light needles. With practiced ease, he just punched into air and shit shock waves which shook the ground. White light came about his hands and started attacking the scattered needles. But suddenly, all the white energy released by guildarts was sucked into a particular direction. Naruto ate all the white light and had a large smile on him. "Your magic is so much tasty and powerful, you know," said Naruto with a large smile. Guildarts couldn't believe it. Someone just ate his magic. He saw Natsu eat fire like nothing, but to eat his magic, the crush magic, is something entirely different for the ace of fairy tale. He just looked gobsmacked at the teen in front of him. His magic, the crush magic, is highly uncontrollable even for a man like him, and this teen ate it like nothing and stood there with a large grin on his face. Damn, this kid is strong. To eat a powerful magic like mine is not an easy feat. I must be careful with him, thought guildarts, and increased his power output to 25% instead of normal 5% increase from 15%. His opponent is strong and he is not going to be defeated by this child. Naruto noticed the increase in power output and prepared his magic. He don't want to use his Wood Dragon Slayer magic, as the sole purpose of this test is to test his limit in his All Slayer magic. Guildarts charged for the first time in their battle. He is fast and his strikes are relentless. For Naruto, it is like dodging all the shurikens of Itachi at the same time. The rogue shinobi being an expert in the technique. He got so many hits, and even though they won't last long, they showed his inexperience in fighting. He started to increase his light spells as well, engulfing his limbs and sword in light to increase their strength, durability, speed and precision. It is a battle of attrition, and Naruto knew that he can outlast the man if it comes to that. But he also knew that the old goat is not going to allow that. Guildarts charged at Naruto with his fist engulfed in crush and managed to hit the blonde. Naruto in response charged his signature spell, which has the potential to destroy mountains if left unchecked. His hand was engulfed in a swirl of blue chakra, making a swirling sound. As his hand engulfed in the blue chakra, the attacks smashed against each other. They couldn't bear the amount of power in it, and so a thin layer of white was added into the mix. Naruto started adding his light magic as well. Both the fighters were thrown back violently in the clash of power. Naruto had enough. "Okay, old man. You managed to push me this far. I'm going to use one of the most destructive techniques in my arsenal. How you react is up to you," said Naruto seriously, and just like before, a blue sphere started rotating in his hand. But soon, it had changed into a four-bladed shuriken with white endings spinning wildly around the now teal ball of energy. It is making a screeching as if bladed are grinding against each other. Upon seeing the technique, Guildarts went on high alert. It is not a normal technique, and he can feel the power of the technique from his position, which is 20 meters from the blonde. Shit, I must not go back for this, thought Guildarts, and increased his power again. Wind style, Rasenshuriken, yelled Naruto and threw the at-K in the man's direction. Guildarts built up large amounts of crush magic and charged it towards the upcoming attack. They both collided, but the destructive technique Naruto threw was more powerful. He increased his output more and they both cancelled each other out, again. Guildarts charged, but this time, he used all the built-up power in his punch and punched Naruto in the chest. Naruto was thrown away into the forest like a ragdoll, hitting and destroying so many trees and finally crashing into a large rock, which stopped his momentum. But there is his body-size hole in the rock because of the impact. All the air his lungs left him upon impact of the punch. Few drops of blood came out of his mouth. "You did it, kid. You pushed me to use 25% of my power. Congratulations. If you continue like this, you are going to be monster in the future, said Gildarts jovially. But for Naruto it is different. As he doesn't know the guy who he is fighting with. He assumed that just pushing him to 25% of his power is not enough for someone who trained under a dragon god for 2 years and had a powerful magic with him. He felt outclassed. He felt defeated. That burnt a lot in his chest. His 2 years of progress went down the drain in front of this man. He is not going to accept defeat. If he did, there is no difference between the current him and the Naruto 2 years ago when he came to this world. Something snapped him. I am not going to give up, screamed Naruto in rage. In a desperate way of prove to himself that he is not weak, Naruto's already activated Sharingan changed into his Mangekyo form. Suddenly a flow of knowledge came into his mind and he uttered the one word which is going to cause fear in his future enemies. Susanoo. Naruto said, and an orangish-red ethereal flame formed around Naruto, engulfing him in its bright flames. A skeleton structure soon formed around Naruto with a hand lifting him up from the ground. His eyes changed into his Mangekyo form, filled with rage and frustration. He walked towards the shocked man. He is staring at the ethereal structure which engulfed the teen in awe and a tint of amazement. Wow. It is really majestic, thought Gildarts. He didn't see a manifestation like this before and he is going to enjoy this battle even more. He increased his power output to 30%. The ethereal form charged, with a hand forming out of nowhere with a red ethereal sword in it. He dodged the attacks of the sword, but soon they became more precise and struck him. He was thrown back a few feet, but he stood his ground. He attacked with his body engulfing in the crush magic, and dodging all attacks and went straight for Naruto and punched the Susanoo as he called it. It cracked, but soon it repaired itself and thrust its sword in his direction and he barely managed to dodge it. But a small cut appeared on his left hand. He was surprised. This teen had managed to draw his blood out. Very impressive. I don't want to think what he will become in 5 years, thought Gildarts, and increased his power output to 35%. The battle became even as both combatants were at a standstill when Naruto attacks. Gildarts dodges and manages a punch Naruto once in 10 tries with a small cut there for him. Soon, because of his inexperience in using the Susanoo and it being his first time, Naruto lost his ultimate offense and defense warrior and fell to the ground, exhausted. He didn't get exhausted more than a few times in the last few years. He fell from the dispersing ethereal structure, but just before he could hit the ground, he was caught by the same man who fought him. Easy there, kid. You fought well. I didn't use that much power in some time and you made me use my power and gave me the taste for the battle in a long time. You should be proud of yourself, as I didn't see a teen your age with this much power. That was a good fight. If possible, I'll be looking forward to another fight, kid. Take care. I must go as I am on a job. See ya, said the man while adjusting Naruto against a tree. He gave him one last smile and with a goodbye, he left the now destroyed forest area. Naruto took nutrients from the surrounding forest and recovered in 15 minutes. With one hand gesture, all the forest grew back as if nothing happened. He filled the craters with soil he created using his earth magic and left the place in a flash. It has been 2 hours already and they are fighting for 2 hours straight without any break. Forest, Giltina. Naruto appeared in a flash and immediately got tackled by his feline companion. What are you doing till now, you idiot? I got worried, he said while scratching Naruto's face with his clawless hands. Easy there, buddy. I just fought a mage. A strong one, he said calmly. Aldoron took note of Naruto's clothes. It seems like an interesting battle, said Aldoron, and Naruto nodded. Yes, father, it was. He crushed my light all slayer magic as if nothing and I had to use more destructive techniques on him which did not scratch him. I got enraged and unlocked a new technique of my Mangekyo Sharingan which managed to push him to 35% of his total power, and at last I couldn't maintain it for long and lost to him, Naruto said in a disappointed tone. What did you learn from this, son? Asked Aldoron as he could sense a but in the statement. I understood to never underestimate any enemy, and I need a lot of improvement to get to his stage. This encounter managed to open my eyes to the reality of the cruel world we are in. No matter what, there will be a person stronger than you, said Naruto in conviction. He understood that like shinobi world, this world is not solely black and white. It has good side and dark side. The man managed to make him realize that there are people stronger than him exist in the world out there. So, he should train hard to be the strongest so that he won't lose anyone dear to him again. His eyes shone with determination stronger than ever, and he threw himself in a rigorous training from the following day. Not stopping until he proves himself to be strong enough to face the world at large. Not yet. Chapter 3. Irreplaceable Loss and Departure. Naruto stared into the star-filled sky of the night. It has been 3 years since he came to this world called Earthland. His training had ended well with his father, the wood dragon god, Aldoron. He had managed to master all his magic and other techniques to a new heights. His father has named him his perfect successor, 4 months ago. Naruto had been so proud that day. Flashback. Wood Dragon God's Secret Art. Awakening of Aldoron, said Naruto in a large wooden structure formed out of pure wood from the trees in the forest into a giant dragon, which is 100 meters tall and 75 meters long. The wooden structure stood there without movement as if waiting for orders. Aldoron looked proudly at the wooden structure. Marvelous, Naruto. It's simply marvelous. You have created a living replica of me. I'm amazed by your progress and speed. You have mastered the lost magics of Dragon and God Slayer in just 3 years. It is an unbreakable feat. I'm very proud of you, son. I hereby name you the perfect son I have always wanted and the most capable successor who has the power and potential to defeat Acnologia. You are my perfect replacement to the world, said Aldoron, his chest swelling up in pride and his large mouth in a smiling shape. Naruto jumped into air to hug his father, and he successfully did it by sitting on the large snout of the dragon and hugging it. They shared a moment of silence, after which Sirius landed beside Naruto, ending the moment of father and son. Naruto hugged Sirius and he returned the gesture. They both had become very good friends rather than a father and son. Now, Naruto, as your training is completed, what will you do? Asked Aldoron. Naruto thought about. He thought of searching for the guild he thought about. He stopped that train of thought as he remembered the fight he had with that man. The man who defeated Naruto and showed him the reality of the world. I'm going to train more until I'm sure I can take everything that is out there, father. I don't want to repeat the same scene when I face that man again, said Naruto with determination. Aldoron nodded. He knew well how valuable lesson that man thought Naruto was. Well then, as we are done with your training, I have one last thing to test before I can rest in peace, said Aldoron in a stern tone. Naruto was confused. Aren't all the tests completed already? Am I not ready yet? Were the few thought flying through the blonde boy's head. No need to worry, son. I just want to see the condition of your soul. You see, when a dragon trains someone in their magic, they tend to become dragons. So we have a way to stop it. As it could cause the person who became a dragon to lose control of themselves and cause destruction to everything and everyone around them. This is not harmful or anything, but it is just a precautionary measure, said Aldoron soothingly, and Naruto nodded in acknowledgement. Just close your eyes and I'll take care of the rest, said Aldoron and put his large clawed hand on Naruto's head. Naruto closed his eyes and went into mindscape, and to his surprise, his father was there with him. What are you doing here, father? Asked Naruto, surprised. I'm surprised to see you, son. Is this the place you often me tell about? Your mindscape? Asked the dragon in awe as it has the replica of Konoha in her forest. Yes, father. This is my mindscape. Everything relating my birth parents was here. I met them here, when I was sent to this world 3 years ago. I talked to them here when there is no time for such things. They told their love to me here, when all the world around me shattered into pieces and I traveled in the void between dimensions. And finally, I lost them here as everything around me merged with me as I am only the suitable vessel. Before they went, they gave their most prized techniques and gave me these eyes, which made me more stronger. I am thankful to them as much as I love them. I was left alone because of this massive nine-tailed fox which is sealed into me by my father. He told me his regrets for putting such a burden on me, and I am amazed by my old man's trust and confidence in me, father. He is my idol for my whole life back then. But no, he became my hero with my mother. The people who saved my life by sacrificing their own, and in the process of saving me, they saved thousands of lives. Though they are not here, I'm proud to be their son, father, as much I am proud to be your student and son, said Naruto emotionally, turning to Aldoron at the end. The sincerity and love he said those words with made Aldoron even prouder of his son. He is the perfect one. That is the only way Aldoron can put it. I'm proud of you too, son, he said. After some time he came back to his senses and turned to Naruto with a serious expression. Now, Naruto, I want you to just meditate while I do my work. Is that clear? He asked, leaving no place for argument. Naruto nodded his head and Aldoron left Naruto's midscape in search of the thing he came here for. The dragon seed. It is a plant-like organism that forms inside the body of a human who uses Dragon Slayer magic that begins the process of dragonization. A dragon seed is one of the 3 known side effects of a human learning the magic, starting with their bodies producing dragon-like features such as scales. The only known method to permanently combat a dragon seed from completely transforming one is for a host dragon to perform a dragon soul technique ritual on a host dragon slayer to cure their transformation with antibodies that are dispersed from the dragon residing in their body. The dragonization can also be temporarily stopped by separating the dragon slayer magic from its user with the use of a separation enchantment. Aldoron could still remember the abomination Acnologia has become because of incomplete dragonification, as he is a self-taught dragon slayer. He doesn't want his son to be one such thing. These are the methods mostly used by dragons. By using the first one, the 5 dragons came to this time with their children. Aldoron was surprised when he didn't sense any dragon seed in Naruto. All the dragon slayers who were taught by dragons have one. For Naruto to not have it rang alarms to Aldoron. It must be either 2 cases. First, Naruto has something that stopped the dragon seed from forming and taking root, or the second one being Naruto didn't have one as he is not strong enough for it to take root. Aldoron knows well that his son is a strong and powerful dragon slayer. He dare say that Naruto can slay him if it comes to that. But he hoped that whatever that caused the missing dragon seed is something really protected Naruto from it. Let's see, he thought as he delved into the innermost parts of Naruto's mind where the dragon seed generally resides. What he saw shocked him. There was a big tree, a tree which is colossal and had only 2 roots, going deeper into Naruto's body. The tree, which is larger than him in size, had black stem with fresh leaves on it. The first root, which Aldoron searched deeper, lead to the necklace Naruto is wearing with the green gem in it. It is the primary source of power for the tree. While the second root lead to the red chakra which was currently roaming mindlessly in Naruto's mindscape, which is being purified and stored through the tree in that necklace. The necklace has lots of chakra, which is the energy Naruto called exist in his world, and it is slowly siphoning off the other chakra in Naruto. From what he could remember, it belonged to someone who also used wood style back in his world. Seems like this thing is much more than what it appears to be, thought Aldoron. This made him relieved of the fact that his son is not going to become a mindless dragon and cause unwanted chaos. My worries are for nothing then, as I have taught him all I could. I could only hope he lives a long and happy life, thought Aldoron, and went back to the outside world. Outside world. Naruto saw his father's eyes open. He looked at him with pride and contentment. Naruto waited for his father to speak as Sirius was sitting beside him with on a rock. Son, I deem you worthy now. You are ready, Naruto. You can go now. I officially conclude our training, said Aldoron. Naruto got tears in his eyes, but he doesn't want to leave his father in this condition alone, as these are his last breaths. As a last gift, I want to give you something, said Aldoron, and Naruto looked at him with worry. He don't want to strain his father further. Aldoron's large clawed hand touched Naruto's neck, specifically his necklace. There was a green glow of light, and Naruto could sense it to be something potent and unreal by the amount of magic in the air. There, I am imbued with something I entrust you to master. It would help you in your life more and defeat Acnologia, if you master it, said Aldoron, and Naruto nodded his head vehemently. I'll do it, father. I'm going to master and prove to the world that your efforts are not in vain, said Naruto with determination and conviction. Aldoron nodded. Good, son. Now go on. Go and start your journey, said Aldoron, but Naruto stayed put. No, father. I can't do that. I want to stay with you as long as you're alive, he said, and Aldoron felt another pang of pride hit him. As you desire, child, said Aldoron, and settled in a sleeping position. Naruto with Sirius went and sat on his large hand. Time skip. 3 months. It is end of October and Naruto just came out of the house which Aldoron constructed for him to live. It has been a week since Aldoron passed away, and though he had Sirius to console and Aldoron told him to not grieve of his death, Naruto couldn't hold back. He cried on the grave he had made for his beloved late father. They had just celebrated his 15th birthday few weeks prior. They were very happy on that day. Aldoron told that he is happy to see his son's birthday one last time. But he couldn't forget the moment his father left the world of living forever. Flashback week ago. Son, I think this is it. I can feel it. Take good care of yourself and Sirius. Be a dragon God Slayer that makes your father proud, said Aldoron in a shaky tone, as he could feel his death approach. It is not a good feeling if you ask him, but it is to be accepted nonetheless. No, father. Please, I don't want to be alone, again, said Naruto, tears falling like a waterfall from his eyes. Hey, I'm still with you, yelled Sirius, annoyed. Though if observed properly, drops of tears fell from his eyes as well. He is right, Naruto. You still have him. Why are you so over-emotional now? We both know it is going to happen someday. Luckily, I'm leaving this world with far more satisfaction than I could ever thought of. It is because of you, Naruto. I feel complete now in my life. I entrust the rest to you, son. Live a long, happy life filled with adventures and love. Find someone who can fill the gap that I and Sirius couldn't from the last 3 years. Stay happy and bring good name to your dad. Be proud of your heritage and cautious of Acnologia. That's what I say as my last words. Take them to heart and be a good son, Sirius, said Aldoron, his breath stopping in middle of his speech. Sirius nodded his head. I'll be, Big Lizard, said Sirius, calling him with the name Naruto introduced him to Aldoron. Yeah, I'll be too, Overgrown Caterpillar, said Naruto along with Sirius. This made Aldoron smile. He didn't ever dream of dying this peacefully, but this felt good. Goodbye, my children. I wish you my blessings in your endeavors, and remember, I'll be watching you from nature, he said with one last toothy smile. No words came out of Naruto's or Sirius's mouth. They just smiled at him, and just like that, he dispersed in millions of golden light particles, that even if Naruto tried can't eat to preserve his father. His hands passed right through them as if he is a ghost. He couldn't hold it anymore and gave a roar of sorrow and loss. The person who took care of him was gone. He is again left all alone, but this time with a goal and a friend with him. Soon, the light particles dispersed into the air, going in all directions, filling the very nature with potent ethernano and magic. Naruto couldn't hold it. He went and made a grave to his father. It read, "Here lays the dragon god of nature. A prideful dragon, a proud father, and a satisfied overgrown caterpillar." Naruto smiled at the last sentence. His father didn't like being called a caterpillar. He despised that name with his very being. Naruto gave him that name affectionately. He only called it few times, but it brought him joy when Aldoron laughed with him when he called him with that name in good humor. Those brought more tears to them. He silently cried away the loss of his beloved father. Flashback end. Now, after a week after his death, Naruto finally managed to pull himself together. He is ready to face the world now. As an act to preserve the sacred ground he trained with his father, Naruto manipulated the forest into a large dome forming into a large cave. No one but him going to know this place, and he left a Hiraishin mark on the edges and all over the place to come whenever he wanted to. He made a barrier with his rune magic, Fuinjutsu, closing the place to the outside world. With one last look at the place he called home for more than 3 years, Naruto began his journey with Sirius taking flight into air and shooting towards south, to the town he frequently visited. In the depths of the barriers and cave system constructed, a small seed took root, going deeper into the earth, taking more water for its life and sustenance. A small hole made in the roof allowed a single ray of sunlight to hit it directly. What is this seed and how did it manage to survive all the changes the dragon god father and son made to the landscape is unknown. Will it be able to endure all the tests and harsh climates of the world, is to be seen. Its future unclear, its fate undecided. What will this single seed do to this world is a mystery. Caramel Town. The town which Naruto saved 3 years ago was called Caramel, a town in Giltina. Naruto landed in front of the gates of the town, which managed to recover from the fire accident 3 years ago quickly. It is now bustling with people. Naruto stared at the bustling town with nostalgia. He would often come to this town to do odd jobs and pile up on supplies of food when he tried something new and show Sirius around. The townsfolk has become fast friends with him, offering jobs from time to time which gave some money. He had piled up few 100,000 jewels, the currency of this world. Compared to the Ryo he was used to in the elemental nations, these are very different. He and Sirius would spend thousands of jewels on ramen alone when they come here, eating to their heart's content. He turned to his foster son, friend, who was looking at the town in intrigue. You didn't see it this bustling last time, right? He asked, and the feline huffed. How can I, when you leave me alone with that lizard and come here? He said in a mock-hurt tone. Now, Siri, don't need to act all disappointed on me, he said, and Sirius sighed. Right. So what do we do? He asked, turning to his papa. I'm thinking of searching for a guild to join. You know where. The members are treated as family. Yeah, I know. I think you have good about a few thousand times to me. Well, that's the plan. Let's say our goodbyes and we can move on with our journey, said Naruto, and Sirius nodded. Hi, is what Sirius replied with. Mayor office, town hall. They went to get Mayor, the same old man who Naruto met 3 years ago. As soon as Naruto entered, he was given immediate appointment as he is still remembered as a hero in the village, which ironically, the people of Konoha failed to do. He knocked on the door 3 times and waited for the answer. A muffled, come in after. Naruto was sitting in front of the mayor, sipping freshly made green tea. Naruto, my boy, it's a surprise. How are you? Fine, old man. I'm doing well. This is Sirius, my friend, said Naruto, gesturing to the jaguar, who was sipping tea with his 2 hands like the 2 humans. Ah, he is good cub, said the old man, opening his almost closed eyelids a little. Yo, replied Sirius lazily. This, generally would surprise people. But when you meet a guy who does feats which are impossible to most mages like Naruto and live near the sacred forest of the wood dragon god Aldoron, you get adjusted to things and surprises like these. Yes, it is good to meet me, my boy, replied the old man as if talking to a small boy. Same here, old man Yama, said Sirius. Which made the old man chuckle. So, what are you here for? You won't come to me unless it is serious, said the mayor, Yama calmly. Well, I have decided to go on my journey to the world out there, said Naruto, seriously. Well, that is sad to hear. But, it is to be expected, I guess. What help could I be in this endeavor of yours? Well, I don't have any knowledge of anything except for this continent. If possible, can you provide me with some maps and other materials? Asked Naruto. It's an easy thing to provide. Do you need anything else, son? Asked the old mayor with a kind smile. No, I think I have essential money and food to go on. Just some maps and information about guilds. Guilds, you say? As in places where mages work? Asked the man for confirmation, to which Naruto nodded. Well, we have the oldest guild in history here in Giltina. If you like, you can go there. That's it. Don't you have any other information on them other than the one here? He asked, somewhat disappointed, and the old man scratched his beard, thinking. I have heard that Alakatasia has some guilds. I'm not sure, but I think you have a good chance there than finding the old guild somewhere here as it may in any condition, he said, and Naruto nodded. What he said is also true, as the old guild might be in any condition and might not accept people. He don't have much information about it, and in his world, information is power. What is this Alakatasia? Asked Naruto, and the old man chuckled. Yes, I have forgot that you haven't left this continent before. Wait here, let me bring a map, he said, and brought a map. See, this is Giltina. We are here, near the southeast tip of the continent. You have two other continents. One is Alakatasia, which is towards southwest to us. Here, he said, pointing to a large chunk on land which is to Naruto's left-hand side. And the other one is Ishgar, as most of it far is east to us, but Ishgar is to southeast. Here, he said, pointing to a archipelago which has so many countries in it. These continents have more guilds there than in Giltina. So you may try your luck there, he said, gesturing to the map. Naruto copied the map with his Sharingan, memorizing each and every bit of it. And here are some things that you may find useful, he said, giving Naruto a bag which contains some water containers and glasses and some food in it. Thanks, old man. I don't think it would be this easy to understand without your help, said Naruto, and gave the old man a kunai. For the mayor, the boy gave him a strange knife which has some intricate designs on it. What is this? He asked, looking it closely. It's one of my tools. If your village is in any kind of trouble, just throw the kunai. I'll be there to help you, he said with a confident smile. I'm grateful for this, my boy. We thank you and we all wish a happy journey, he said, opening the door to the hall, where most of the population of the town gathered to give him a farewell. Naruto had tears of joy. He didn't receive anything like this when he was in Shinobi World. He rubbed his eyes of the tears and replied. Thanks, you guys. I'll always remember you. Call me if you have any trouble. See ya, he said, stepping outside and walking towards the gate of the village, Sirius following behind him. He had odd expressions as he didn't see these many people gather in his life. With a smile he also waved at them, to which he got cheers in return. Have a happy journey, Naruto. Be safe, okay. If you want, come here, we are always happy to help. And in between all these he heard a few, I love you, I'm gonna miss you, will you marry me, from younger generation of the crowd. He just chuckled, and as he reached the gate of the village he turned back and gave them in least salute. See ya, he yelled, and got cheers and lewd screams in encouragement. Sirius stood beside him and gave him a nod, and they both vanished in smoke, surprising most of the town folk. Forest outside town Caramel. Okay, let's see. We are here, Naruto said, gesturing towards the X mark on the map which the old man drew. Old man said going to Alakatasia has some guilds. So, we are going to try there, said Naruto with a feral grin. What if there is such guild there? What will we do? Asked Sirius. If there are guilds in Alakatasia and not to our liking, then we will search in, Ishgar, the closest continent. If there is no guild there as well, we will start a new one where we like most in our journey, he said, and Sirius nodded. They both took to the air and traveled southwest with Sirius his wings out and Naruto using his Earth Dragon Slayer magic to fly. Naruto has found 3 ways. First, Using his Earth Dragon Slayer magic, he reduces the density of his body, making him lighter than, which enables him to fly. He had found it after his fight with that man and practiced it to perfection. Earth Style, Lightweight Jutsu, is the name he gave the jutsu. Second method is by using his Wind Style. Wind Style, Air Current, is a jutsu created by Naruto using his Wind Style, his strongest affinity before addition of the Lacrima. Now it is on par with his Dragon Slayer magic, but it consumes more magic than the Dragon Slayer magic to uses it, not his dragon element. But it is useful nonetheless. It can move at the speed of sound at its peak and can break the sound barrier. The third and most fastest is the Light Style, Light Wave. It is a technique he can use to fly at the speed of light. He intended this after experimenting it so many times and injuring himself so much. Though his control of the light had improved a lot, it consumes relatively more magic compared to his other magics. He deduced that as it is a primary element like the one of the duality without which life is not possible, it consumes more magic and it is potent as well. And finally, he can fly using his Susanoo. He found that his Susanoo has stages and at its full body form, it has wings to fly. He tried it with his Wood Style as well, but he always needed some type of support to maintain the balance in the air. So he dropped it. He likes using all of them and uses the Earth Style one more as it is simple and is almost like breathing to him, and Sirius can keep up with him in this one when compared to the other two methods. Soon, as they traveled, Naruto saw ground after a vast gap of water below. He thought going underwater, but after reminding himself of Sirius, he settled for enjoying with him on beach later. He did miss the shores and sea as his first real mission in the shinobi world took place near them. He felt more connected to them now as he also had Water Dragon Slayer magic as well. They both kept their pace and flied happily in the air until Sirius saw something. Naruto, look, he said, pointing to a dust cloud. Naruto, who was deep in thought about his experiences, turned in the direction to see where Sirius is pointing. Okay, I can sense a large magic signature there. Stay here, Siri. I'll go and check, said Naruto seriously. Sirius don't like when Naruto protects like a small child, always taking all the action, but by the tone he used and from the seriousness in his face, he can understand that it is something serious. Though he know Naruto would not let anything happen to him, if something was to happen, Naruto can heal him, he knew Naruto would. Sirius just floated in the air with a constant flow of wind magic. Naruto soon landed on the ground and went close to the dust cloud when a spike of sand shot out of the dust to catch him. From highly honed instincts and highly flexible body, Naruto moved to the way. The spike dispersed immediately. Well, seems like I have got a good bug to deal with here, said a male voice. Naruto could see through all the sand clearly. He saw a boy, who might be 13 to 14 years old. He is dark-skinned, had growing muscles and of average height with large, thick, brown hair that juts out wildly in every direction. Which has a black cloth in the style of bandana holding it from falling on his eyes. He wears a thin light green color shirt with beige color pants with some pockets on them. He is staring at Naruto with a superior smirk on his face. You bug, name is Ajil, your would-be killer, he said with an arrogant grin. For Ajil, this is his first time. He is currently starting at a blonde boy guy who might be a year or two older than him. He has 6 lines evenly across his face like a fox and had cerulean blue eyes which were starting him, narrowed won't board. He is currently wearing a light orange color jacket with a light gold undershirt with fushnit armor inside. He is also wearing black pants with strange detarpings around it with bandages. He is also wearing a metal plate with some useless symbol on it, which Ajil couldn't understand. The thing that annoyed Ajil most is the expression of the blonde. He is looking at him as if he is an insignificant pest. I'm no pest, he roared in his mind, his magic resonating with his emotions, sending vibrations across the sand. You bug, you look me as if I'm inferior. I'll show you. I'll crush you with my magic and kill you slowly. The last thing you remember is going to be my laugh when you lay dead in front of me, he yelled and readied his sand. Let's begin then. I want to test my magic as well and you are going to be my guinea pig, said Naruto with a dark smile. He understood the kind of person in front of him. He is a sadist, who enjoys killing others for his amusement. He is going to teach a lesson that he never forgot. Chapter 4. Joining Fairy Tale. You bug, you look me as if I'm inferior. I'll show you. I'll crush you with my magic and kill you slowly. The last thing you remember is going to be my laugh when you lay dead in front of me, he yelled and readied his sand. Let's begin then. I want to test my magic as well, and you are going to be my guinea pig, said Naruto with a dark smile. He understood the kind of person in front of him. He is a sadist, who enjoys killing others for his amusement. He is going to teach a lesson that he never forgot. Naruto stretched his hands. After hearing the satisfactory pops, he fell into his relaxed stance. This only managed to agitate the sandboy, Agil. Now you die, he said and sent wave after wave of sand to crush Naruto. But being more experienced dealing with sand, because of the unwilling cooperation of Gaara and Shukaku, Naruto left the ground and took into the air. He was just floating there, waiting for something to happen. The dark-skinned boy seems to have gotten agitated with his escape and shouted to him. Flying like a bug you are. I'll drag you down and remove every part of your body and kill you slowly, he said with a crazed grin. Naruto also grinned at that. If you want to do all that, first you should catch me jelly, he said and vanished from his position. Agil looked to his sides in confusion. He is going to show the blonde, calling him the great Agil. Calling him jelly is not going to be taken lightly. He felt a slight breeze behind him and turned only to see a flying kick coming towards him with so much speed that his magic couldn't react to it. He was thrown into the forest, damaging so many trees and crushing all the branches as he passed through them. Damn, that hurts. You blonde bastard, you kicked me. Again, you are a walking corpse now. Your death is imminent, he said and sent waves of sand to crush the blonde. Naruto didn't move this time. Agil heard something and all his sand got evaporated. Evaporated? Did he just vaporize my sand? He screamed in his head. His ire rose. No one has insulted him like this. You evaporated my sand. Good. I have found a worthy fighter to fight, he said with a dark smile and his magic levels rose. Oh, he is holding back till now. Let's see what he can do, thought Naruto with a smile. Just by the sheer heat generated by his light, all Slayer magic evaporated the sand. Antlion pit, he yelled and Naruto felt the ground under him shift. As he has Earth Dragon Slayer, he just kicked the ground. Whatever that was about to happen stopped and he stood his ground. Agil got confused by this and tried again. But has no result. The blonde kicked and the attack stopped. Ah! He shouted in frustration. He is getting annoyed. Sand body, he said, and his body was covered with sand entirely. He stood on top of the construct he made and charged towards Naruto. Naruto remembered a similar battle he fought 3 years ago. After Gaara gave full control to Shukaku, the Aikibi made of pure sand, charged Naruto to kill him. But he managed to win that battle with the help of Gamabunta. He wanted to use his Water Dragon Slayer magic, but he decided to test his light first. He is currently holding a light sword with which he slashed the sand that came near him. Seeing the sand construct run towards him made Naruto smile. After his fight that man, Naruto didn't fight with anyone else but his father and occasionally, Sirius. He can feel his blood pumping and adrenaline rush through his veins. He smiled. He is going to give this moron a good pounding and he is going to enjoy that. As the sand construct reached him, he slashed it in half with a single strike of his light sword. It is good. It has some mass in it, but can't withstand my attack, Naruto said in a condescending tone. Agil got shocked. Did his sand body dispersed by a single attack? He is definitely going to enjoy killing this blonde bastard. He made his hands into 2 large sand hands and tried to punch the blonde. Again, this was stopped by his light sword. What is the problem with that sword? Jigua, he screamed and threw many sand bullets at the blonde. Naruto slashed every bullet with his sword, moving at high speeds. Sand tsunami, Ajil shouted, and a large wave of sand came towards Naruto. Deciding that he had annoyed the boy enough, he dispersed his sword into light particles and made a large translucent barrier around himself. He saw the sand at the height it is going reach serious, if left it to go. So Naruto pushed his foster son up with his magic. Damn fucker. You will not die. I'm going to kill you, screamed the guy, losing every sense of sanity he had until now. Magic and sand rippled violently and Naruto sensed a large buildup of magic. He narrowed his eyes and Ajil made all types of animals with his sand. There were wyverns, birds and some golems. He thought of just using his earth style to disperse them. But where is the real fun in it? Naruto made a bow, just like the one he made while fighting that unnamed man. He aimed and released hundreds upon hundreds of light arrows which disintegrated the animals and some exploded as well. This caused massive shock waves in the air. Not relenting and admitting his defeat, Ajil pushed through, using the most powerful technique that he created and had hoped of improving. But the desperate times called for desperate measures. Sand Palace, he said, and large gusts of sand came out of nowhere and filled the whole clearing. They are fighting in the sandstorm. In the storm, Ajil was throwing attack after attack on the unmoving blonde. The attacks phased through him as if he is a ghost. Though Ajil can sense him and felt his magic through sand, Naruto thought of using the newest technique his eyes granted him to use. He just stood there as all the attacks passed through him. After some time, he got bored and used the main affinity he had before all this dimension travel. Wind style. Naruto, it is an attack he created on his name. All the sand that covered the clearing was dispersed by the large gusts of wind generated by Naruto's technique. Ajil, who was trying to get an opening and attack the blonde, fell headfirst on the ground, making a human-size hole. He groaned in pain. Naruto knew the guy is strong, but to survive from a fall tells about his immense durability. Maybe he made a sand bed to take the impact, thought Naruto, and as he thought, the hole was filled with sand. Naruto walked to his downed opponent. As a former shinobi, all things he learned told him to kill his enemy to neutralize any future threat from him. But something told him not to do it. Maybe the innate magic in this world, he doesn't know. He went closer to see an all roughed up Ajil. His body is full of bruises and his clothes have tears in them. He had some gashes which were leaking small drops of blood. He is a mess. Naruto went closer to do what his instinct told him to. To kill the guy who might pose a bigger threat in future. Not to him, but to the people who live in this place. But before he went through it, he sensed a familiar magic signature approach. He jumped back from his position at least 50 meters and saw the man who taught him a lesson he can't forget in battle. It's been long, kid, said the man. Yes, it is, replied Naruto. Seeing the battle over, Sirius landed beside Naruto. Okay there, Pops? Asked Sirius, looking at the man cautiously. If this man is who he assumed him to be, he is very dangerous to approach. Oh, who is this little cutie? Asked the man in an amused tone, seeing the caution in the eyes of the feline. He is Sirius. My partner, said Naruto seriously. Partner, eh? Nice to meet you, little guy, said Gildarts with a wave, which Sirius replicated with his hand. What are you gonna do about him? Gildarts asked Naruto. Naruto took a moment to answer, but in that time he took a closer look at the man. He had one thing that stood out from their last encounter. There are fresh scars that are recently stitched across his chest, which are not their last time. His heavily muscular body is without a left arm and left leg, which are replaced with rudimentary wooden prosthetics, completed with an armored knee guard to function as the knee joint. Naruto can smell the blood that leaked from those scars from the speed the man traveled to reach here. All the thoughts of killing the Ajil guy left his mind. This man had taught him a valuable lesson and he is going to heal him. Leave about him. What are those scars? Asked Naruto, pointing at the scars across Gildart's chest. These are a reminder of my recent battle. Why the sudden interest? Asked Gildart's, happy that the kid left the other guy alive. He sensed from his position a heavy intent to kill in the forest while he is recuperating and came here to investigate. He didn't expect the blonde who he met 2 years ago to be here. Now he took interest in his scars. What are you going to do with that one? Asked Gildarts curiously. Didn't I tell you leave him? What are you doing here? Asked Naruto, dropping the matter of the now unconscious sand mage, who owed to kill the blonde one way or other. I'm on my way back to my guild, said Gildarts casually as he started to move towards the forest he came from. If he had turned, he would have seen a wonder in his life. Naruto snapped his fingers and all the battlefield reverted to the lush forest that it once was. That took some magic there, thought Naruto. There, everything was reverted to normal, and so he followed Gildarts. When he heard the word guild, his ears perked. So, which guild are you from? Asked Naruto, who was in step with Gildarts and Sirius is just one step behind Naruto. Me, I'm from Fairy Tail, he said, gesturing to the black guild mark on his left pectoral. Why, are you trying to join a guild or something? Asked Gildarts curiously. Yeah, I'm in search of them currently. I'm here on a hunch that this place has some. I don't know about the guilds here, but Fairy Tail is a great place, said Gildarts with nostalgia. Tell me about it then. If I like it, I may join, said Naruto. Perfect. I'm going back to the guild to report my failure of the job. If the kid comes with me, it will be good fun, thought Gildarts and continued talking. Well, if you ask me, it is like home. It has all the noise you want with members have mutual respect. I guess we are like a family, he said, unable to explain clearly. Naruto picked up the word family, but didn't make any decision yet. He is going to check it out and then decide. What is your name, old man? Asked Naruto with a cheeky smile. Gildarts sighed. Don't call me that. It's Gildarts, said the tall man. Naruto Uzumaki, said Naruto and extended his hand. Gildarts gave Naruto a firm shake and can feel the increase in strength. He certainly grew strong, thought Gildarts. He felt foreign magic enter his body. He tried to repel it, but he couldn't as it moved in his body towards his chest, more particularly to the place where his stitches were, and he felt a warm feeling engulf him. He is healing me, thought the relief man. The wounds were a real pain in the ass. He stood there feeling warm and soon all the pain died down. Though the scar still exists, it is not to the severity of before. He felt the magic move towards the prosthetic hand and leg her attached to himself. He felt the bolts tighten and the wood strengthen. Really, kid, you are like a perfect all-in-one, said Gildarts with a smile. There, it is all done. You can move much more freely now, said Naruto, and Gildarts nodded. Let's go then. Fairy Tail awaits our arrival, said Gildarts and went on in the forest, Naruto and Sirius following beside him while talking to their, which Gildarts didn't understand. Sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry I came here to write it, but I want to make some things clear. The patron page which released have next 2 chapters in them. If you want to read them before its public release and know what happened, you should go there. There are so many polls as well. Like the weekly schedule and future pairings. You also get other benefits as well. Be sure you remember to get these. I'll upload here as well, but you will get regular updates with weekly or 10 days gap. The patrons will definitely be 2 chapters ahead. I would appreciate if you become a member as it motivates and encourages me to write and we can communicate easily there. The link for the patron page in my Pinterest page above. Search for Black Infinity 1289 on Pinterest. Scene break. Somewhere in a port town in Alakatasia. It is a small town which has some boats which go to another side of the world. It is November of year X 780. Gildarts was on his way to Fairy Tail as it is time for S-class trials and to report his mission failure to Makarov. Naruto tagging along will certainly make things interesting for the orange-haired man. They found a ship which goes to Fury as it is the country in which Fairy Tail is a part of. As soon as Naruto stepped in the ship, he fell face first on the floor with a blue face as if he was about to spill everything out. Gildarts didn't give it much thought. Gildarts knew that Naruto was strong and he is going to be well. While Sirius is looking pensively, he heard of something like this. But he couldn't recall it what. Soon, Naruto righted himself from the position on the floor and walked up to him with his cat in tow. Who I still thinking. Man, that was pitiful, said Naruto to Gildarts. What is something wrong? Asked Gildarts. Nah, I was warned about getting motion sickness as I never rode a vehicle. I didn't think it will make me immovable and with a feeling to empty my guts. I don't know how people handle it, said Naruto. Gildarts chuckled. Sirius realized that is what he was thinking. I think I know someone you can ask personally when you come to Fairy Tail, said the man, and Naruto understood. Oh, so they have a dragon slayer. This is going to be more interesting, thought Naruto. With the pre-knowledge of meeting a dragon slayer, Naruto erased his scent, which for the most part feels like light and wood bark, but to the nose of a dragon slayer, they can smell the dragon magic in Naruto if concentrated on it. Though unknown to him, the necklace on him always negates it as it absorbs all the leaking magic. He prepared himself for the boat journey ahead and calmly sat beside Sirius, and they both talked about the adventure they started. Naruto was now more excited to see how Fairy Tail is and if they really have a dragon slayer. Meanwhile, in the sealed forest of Giltina, the seed took an even strong root. A small root grew deep inside the earth and a small green stem came out it which went into the ground, finally changing it into a small sapling from its seed state. 3 days later, Flower Port, Fury. On a port town called Flower Port, the boat which brought Naruto and Gildarts landed. That was a good journey, won't you say, Naruto? Yeah, but poor Sirius. He missed land more than me, said Naruto, petting the small jaguar who was giving Naruto a cold shoulder. It is your fault, you blonde idiot. You didn't show me see, he said indignantly. Okay, sorry. Now come, I think we have a guild waiting for us, said Naruto. Sirius sighed and walked beside them, still grumpy, as they moved towards Fairy Tail. So, do you guys want to walk or take a train? I can't control my magic in a small compartment like a train, said Gildarts sheepishly. Yeah, I know that. If I didn't seal away your magic, I think the ship would be a wreck by now. Why can't you control your magic? Asked Naruto. Well, I didn't learn how to properly control it, said Gildarts offhandedly. Whatever. Are you ready for a walk, buddy? Asked Naruto. I am curious of this country. What's its name again? Asked Sirius. It's Fury, Siri. What are you curious about? Asked Naruto. Well, aren't you interested in seeing the place around? You know, asked Sirius. You know is a code word they use for a shinobi conversation. That means it is for espionage or spy missions as planned by Naruto. That was right. Hey old man, how long will you take to get to your guild? Asked Naruto, turning to Gildarts. I guess it would be 1 day with all my stops, said Gildarts. Okay, 1 day later, we'll be at Fairy Tail Guild Hall. Don't be late, old man, said Naruto and shot into the sky, disregarding the shocked expressions of people around him. Man, that kid is fast, said Gildarts and made his way to take some rest. Maybe he could go have some fun or something. Scene break. Naruto decided to enjoy himself in the new country by relaxing. He went to a hotel room and rented a spacious and luxurious room there. Instead of just wasting time, he decided to collect some information about the country he was in. He went to a nearby bookstore and bought a book which was named History of Fury, and also bought the Top Guilds of Fury and a copy of Sorcerer's Weekly, which seemed to be a magazine for mages here. He went back to his room and showered. After eating a full bowl of family pack ramen, he sat on the lounging chair and opened the book. about the history of the country. A day passed and Naruto was completely relaxed. He had managed to buy some ramen from one of the shops which sell foreign goods. When he made a purchase, the owner was flabbergasted. He bought all the available stock and stock available in the godown as well. It has some of his favorites. Sirius was giddy as Naruto bought all ramen cups available in the store. He is going to enjoy this. As the day mark approached, they both took to the skies and journey southwest way, towards Fairy Tail Guild in Magnolia. A few hours later, it took them just 3 hours to reach Fairy Tail from their location in Flower Port to Magnolia. They were just observing the beauty of the town. It looked so much similar to Konoha, with all the stone builds with different styles and the Fairy Tail Guild Hall standing at the edge like the Hokage Tower. It is very picturesque for Naruto. He floated in the air, taking the beauty of the town when he heard alarm bells flare and the whole town started to shift. It shifted and made a straight line to the Fairy Tail Guild building. He knew who is responsible for this and descended towards the lone figure that was walking the now straight path. That's a surprise, old man. You didn't tell me there will be a town shift here. Huh, Naruto. Yay, they fear that I may accidentally crush their buildings, said Guildarts. I guess they are smart. If not they won't do this for just a man, said Naruto teasingly. Oh, is that so? Then who kicked your butt in our last fight? Asked Guildarts with a grin. Don't worry old man. We are going to fight soon. I don't care how. But I'm going to kick your ass to Giltina, said Naruto with a dark chuckle. Guildarts also grinned at Naruto. I'll be waiting for that day, kid, he said and ruffled the blonde locks of Naruto. They soon came to the standing tower of Fairy Tail Guild building. It is made of wood with 3 floors and had a big bell on the top of the building. It has a large banner of Fairy Tail symbol in white with orange background. Naruto was amazed at the beauty of the building. As he thought, this building just reminded him of the Hokage Tower. Instead of kanji for fire, it has a fairy tale symbol. It is good. It had filled with potent magic as he can sense the magic filled in the guild building from the wood used in the building. He sensed something more powerful beneath it, which he couldn't get his finger on. But didn't give much thought to it. Sirius was perfectly replicating the expression of fish out of water. His mouth was agape at the sheer size of the building. His blonde idiot father didn't show him buildings like this. That blonde moron, thought Sirius, a vein popping on his face. He is going to teach the blonde a lesson, once all this guild business was over. So, how was it? Are you amazed by it? Asked Guildarts with a smirk. Yeah, it is good. I have seen buildings similar to this, but I must admit, it is different from others, said Naruto. He knew Sirius is going to give him a headache when they got some lone tone. Let's go, said Guildarts and pushed the doors open. What Naruto saw was something he didn't expect. All the people inside were fighting. They were throwing stools, tables and all types of weapons around. 2 major fights were going on. One between a pink-haired boy who was spewing fire around like it was nothing with a bluish-black-haired boy who was half-naked only in his shorts throwing ice weapons at the fire mage. Another one took the cake. It was between 2 female members of the guild. One has vibrant red hair much like his mother's who wore armor and a blue skirt using swords, and another had white hair girl who wore a skimpy one-piece dress with a maniacal glee on her face as she was fighting the redhead while electricity and sparks flew around. Naruto walked absent-mindedly, not paying any attention to any of the fights going on. Guildarts silently sat at the bar table with an old man. All the other members not giving a damn about the arrival of Guildarts. They are just in their world of fighting. The old man, who sat beside Guildarts, was strong. Naruto can sense that. He is an extremely short, elderly man. He has black eyes and is growing bald with only the outer rims of his head containing white hair. He also has a thick white mustache and a black stamp of the Fairy Tail Guild mark that covers his entire chest area. He was dressed casually, with attire consisting of a white shirt with a black fairy tail stamp in the middle under an orange hoodie. His attire was completed with matching orange shorts and an orange and blue striped jester hat. Naruto can sense that the old man's eyes were on him as he followed to go around the guild building, while Guildarts was talking to him. Naruto dodged every punch aimed at him and walked through all the chaos with fluidity. Makarov was absorbing this, and as he reached the fighting duo of fire and ice, Naruto stopped to see what happens next. If what his estimation is correct, then the fire mage is a dragon slayer. Fire Dragon's Iron Fist, he yelled and punched the blue-haired boy. That confirmed it for Naruto. He found a fellow dragon slayer. He can sense a feint of another, but didn't think about it much. He can find about it later. Ice make. Shield, said the ice mage, and a shield formed protecting the ice boy. Man, that was a draw, said the pink hatred boy. No kidding. I'm gonna kick your ass next time. Fire brain, said Gray. Gray, your clothes, yelled Kana. A young brunette who is the boy's age. Damn, I lost them again, said Gray and started searching for his lost clothes. Urza and Mira had stopped their fight to look at the open door to see Guildarts enter with a blonde boy. Naruto walked up to Guildarts and spoke. So, old man, is this the guild you call your home? Spoke the newcomer to Guildarts. To Guildarts, all the guild members had the thought simultaneously. Wait a second, when did Guildarts come? They thought in confusion. Yep, this is the one. Do you like it? Asked Guildarts with a raised eyebrow. Yeah, all the people here are definitely enjoying themselves. I can join this one and have some fun, said Naruto and turned to the small jaguar who walked beside him, protecting himself with a windshield as to not get hit by any thrown projectiles. What do you say, Sirius? Do you want to join this guild? Asked Naruto. All the guild members just noticed a happy-sized jaguar who was standing beside the new guy. I guess why not? You always wanted a family. By observing the expressions of these people, I can't think of a place which would be more suitable for you, said Sirius. Yup, you got yourself a new member, old man, said Naruto, smiling toothily at the two old people staring at him. A new member, shouted Mikao, a blue-haired man. That means party, shouted Wakaba, a brown-haired man with a pipe. Guildarts was having a conversation with the old man, who nodded at the end. Where do you want your guild mark and in which color, young man? Asked the old man, having a fairy tale stamp in his hand. Orange on my left shoulder, please, said Naruto, and Makarov stamped there in orange. Black on my left shoulder as well, said Sirius as he turned to left and Makarov stamped there. Welcome to Fairy Tale, said Makarov, and everyone clapped as they got two new members. Meanwhile, a blue cat was seeing Sirius with his mouth agape at the surprise of seeing another talking cat like him.